Welcome in everybody to episode 21 of the Blurred Final Fantasy 11, your
We
premiere
drink.
podcast for 2025. Premiere not only because it's really good, but also
Mm.
because it's the only one that currently exists. So you're welcome.
The best by default.
Yes, exactly. The quality is not good, but at least we do it anyway. So welcome back.
You think you could do better? Try, loser.
Do it. I've look, here's my thing. If somebody like with experience and actual know-how starts their own podcast for Final Fantasy 11, I would be happy to just like stop and just be like,
Who is
Well,
more
then
experienced and has more know-how than us? We do scientific testing.
probably literally anybody off the street.
Damn.
we just
But
like immediately shift like the tagline to be like the longest running 2025 podcast. Most concurrent episodes in a streak for the we miss streaks all the time.
yeah.
Fuck.
Of
Don't
the 21 episodes, I think we've only missed 3 weekends.
I don't know. I feel like if I don't miss a weekend, I often want to miss a weekend, but that's
Yeah.
just my personal problems
Bad mentality to
manifesting.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm streaming anway and I'm
Mhm.
doing something boring. And even then, I'm like, man, maybe we just skip the podcast today.
But anyway, now that we're here, I'm so happy.
I'm the only one that enjoys doing this.
What are you talking about?
I think
We
it's just
all do
like
it.
the general social anxiety, like
Yeah.
not that I'm like anxious to talk to you guys, like anything like that, but it's
Mhm.
like, it's just the introvert side of me that whenever there's like an out to a social gathering, I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%.
Looking at the shoes and being like, I don't want to run, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the movies last night at
What'd you see?
we saw Keeper.
Was it
Um,
good?
it was pretty good. I'm not a good like scary movie person, especially like in theaters. So I jumped a couple times, and my
Oh,
girlfriend was laughing at me the entire time, which is perfectly fine.
Did you use your hand and
Um,
it's gonna be okay.
yeah, basically. But like even then, like when it was time to go, I was like, I don't want to go outside. Like it's, I was like, it's 8 o'clock at night, and you're expecting me to go outside. What the fuck? I was
Yeah.
like, I'm
Oh,
ready
I
to go
thought
to bed.
you didn't want to go outside and be embarrassed because you had a little pee stain.
Well, I do that, but I'm just used to that at
But
this
that was
point.
before they went to the movie. That was when
Right.
he was
Yeah.
still at home.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, you know
Hey.
what? I've got news for you, Myth.
Mhm.
You're a keeper.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was by the guy that made Longlegs and The Monkey, and I enjoyed both of those movies very differently from each other, but this one like was it wasn't as good as Longlegs, but I still think
Isn't
it was
there a
pretty
new
good.
monkey horror movie coming out? Primate?
Yeah, we saw the trailer for that, and I don't know,
I
it
was at the
looks kind of
theaters
weird.
yesterday too, which is why I know.
Oh, what'd you see?
I went to my buddy's place and we watched The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
And then
nice.
immediately after we went and saw the new Running Man.
How was the new one? I love the old Running Man movie. It's so
Very
campy and
similar, but
amazing.
also very different. Like
Mm.
thematically, it was the same, but the concept of the game was very different,
Yeah.
and it was more futuristic. Because the old one was set in the distant future of 2017, where
Yeah.
society collapsed.
Interesting.
Which did end up happening. We're just somehow we
Honestly,
haven't
like,
realized it
I'm
yet.
blown away in a way because both of them, like, even the old one, uh, was kind of like prophetic in that,
Yeah.
like the social media aspect and the propaganda of social
Mm.
media used
Mhm.
like AI to fake things, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's way
Yeah.
ahead of the game.
That's
Well, I
cool.
mean, that's what science fiction really is, right? It's just like the idea of science fiction is that it becomes reality. It has to be accessible, or a lot of science fiction is rooted in ideas that are forming.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was
that's
fun.
awesome.
If it was silly, it wasn't campy and like stupid action fun like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies can be.
Mhm.
Mm.
It was like a more serious take on it, but still silly in its own way.
Mhm.
Did Arnold make a cameo in this one, in there, or is
He
it
was
like,
on the dollar bills.
oh, nice.
Okay, that's funny.
Um, yeah, it was fun. Michael Cera had a really good part in it,
Mm,
Oh, really?
surprisingly.
cool.
And William H. Macy had like a quick throwaway role.
Mm. You know what I do want to watch is the new Frankenstein movie that just came out on Netflix.
Mm.
Oh, I was gonna
Um,
say the one with Christian Bale that's not out yet, but never mind.
no, I think this is the Guillermo del Toro one.
The one I'm talking about, I think, is like a DC Comics version where it's like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, no, I have not. I
There's a
haven't heard
trailer
of that.
for it. It's like uh damn it, what's her name? Uh Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
I think she's the Bride of Frankenstein and Christian Bale's Frankenstein. It's very
Hmm.
weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. But no, this one came out on Netflix, I think, and I think it's Oscar Isaac is the main character.
Oh, okay. Did
Um,
I heard, speaking of him, that he will no longer do Moon Knight from Marvel
Oh,
Comics
oh
really?
right.
because he said Disney is a fascist society, is a fascist corporation, and fuck you.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
I
think
I
That's
love that
crazy.
for him. I absolutely love
That's
that for
wild.
him.
I'm like, way to
Oh
stick to your
man,
principles. Damn, that's kind of psycho.
that's cool.
It is
I
really based, Lux.
I respect him more for that than
I mean, to be fair, I want Moon Knight to be good,
Oh, yeah.
and
I thought the
I
series
think
was good.
I thought it was good until the end. Like
Yeah.
it kind of fell off the
Well,
rails.
the ending just like, well, I think intentionally, but like it was like one of those that ended and you're like, well, wait. It's like kind of an inception moment where you're like, wait a second, did it wobble or did it not? Is it still
Yeah,
spinning?
oh
Yeah,
yeah
like,
yeah yeah.
it was interesting, and it had me like wanting more, but also I didn't like the big CGI monster battle.
Mm,
oh
Um,
yeah, true.
I thought like conceptually the whole like who's the main ego in the brain was cool,
mhm,
but I don't know if it needs Oscar Isaac to be the main guy.
okay.
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah
He does good in like everything he's in.
yeah. I have
The
not
script helps,
watched
like Star
Moon.
Wars.
I have not watched Midnight.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the Marvel TV shows, and
Oh,
I
all the TV
generally
shows have been very mid at best.
yeah, I
All of them.
basically steered clear of most of them or all of them really. But
For me, I've followed Marvel from the very beginning. Like,
mm,
uh, it started strong. It had some dips, and then it like in the middle of its run, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, the middle of the run was like peak movies, in my opinion.
mm,
Like some of them were just like blow you away. How did they pull this off? Star-studded cast, everything is going great, like super entertaining,
mhm,
and then it kind of fell off a cliff. And
yeah,
I
uh,
think it started
Yeah.
with COVID, like right when the movies
Well,
started on
I
TV.
think also like one like anything, I think it got too big. And when
Yeah,
something gets too big, then you have like a committee writing it and like, all these opinions and they're trying to live up to so many expectations.
kind of like this
Um
podcast. We're
yeah,
we're getting
exactly.
too big for,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to evolve into just
Hmm.
like all the Final Fantasy games and eventually just like a general life advice podcast, probably.
Yeah. That's the goal. The goal is that I've said from the beginning, the
Yeah.
ideal is that we eventually don't this podcast isn't even about Final Fantasy 11. It just becomes like we just talk about shit like this for 2 hours and we're like, well,
oh, yeah,
out of
that
time.
comment
Better
too.
go.
I
Uh
read his comment. I was like, we're gonna talk about whatever, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but I think that like also the problem with the downturn on the Marvel movies to me
Mhm.
was when Endgame ended. And
Yeah.
like it's the same like Final Fantasy 14 has this problem in its current expansion too, where like for a decade they were warming up to a big bad, like all the Infinity Stones and getting all this stuff and everything was tied together and integrated. And it's like they finished that storyline and then all the movies after it, they were like, shit, what do we do? How do we make a movie? I forgot.
It's,
Like
it's honestly a little bit worse than that, right? Because like I feel like up till Endgame,
Mhm.
narratively, every movie was kind of like pre-thought out to fall in line in a certain way. And after
mhm.
that, it felt like the studio went into like corners of the offices and made their own decisions, and they were not interconnected into some sort of narrative at all.
Yeah. And they kind
And
of tried to with what's his name?
oh,
The
but
big
they got
bad that they
fired.
were setting up.
Um,
Uh
I have
the
no
I
idea.
can't remember the
Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror.
Mm.
yeah, Kang.
But then like they like pulled the ripcord on that and abandoned ship on that idea
Well, I
and
think it's because
whatever.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Majors was kind of all encompassing in that role, and
Yeah.
then they fired him over.
Yeah.
I think it was like a civil suit against his
Yeah.
ex-wife.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Or
I stopped watching Marvel when Age of Ultron came out. I saw that and
oh,
I was like, this sucks, and then I just stopped
I think he
watching
missed out.
it.
I think he missed out heavily because that movie was a flop,
Mhm.
but it peaked after that,
Mm, okay.
so you missed the peak if that's the case.
Well, that's not something people say about me often. But anyway,
Oh my
let's go
god.
ahead and start talking about Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah. Can we one I got two announcements I have to make if it's
Yes,
okay.
yes, absolutely.
One, Hash Brown didn't sleep through the podcast today. So
Oh wow,
congratulations,
that's
Hash
really
Brown.
exciting.
Oh, welcome,
Um
Brown.
two, Huevos, I was asking about something to do with eye seals.
Mhm,
And yes, Jurassic Park is the best one. I don't know if the drop is guaranteed, but you can get like 4 or 5 in a single run if you're lucky.
mhm.
And that's my announcement is that this is my public service announcement to everybody. Eye seals are currently available. Go get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while you're
Um,
talking to Cuevos, thank you for the reply and thanks for that initial email.
yeah, thanks. Speaking of emails, we have 4 to get through today. So I think we should probably
Ooh,
get started with
ooh.
Tetrodox's late
Don't rush
Halloween
me.
question if you want to dive into that, Dex.
Do you want to?
I want to do
Okay,
whatever
then
you want to do. Let's do whatever you
we can
want
do
to
it.
do.
We can do it in order from oldest to newest.
Sure.
From Tetrodox. You guys were too busy rating Unity gear anyways,
Mhm.
but just because it's November doesn't mean we'll automatically switch over to Christmas like retail stores do, right?
Mm.
Or whenever you guys get to this question, hopefully it isn't actually in December, LOL. Well, it's November 15th, and how dare you?
Mhm. I'm actually gonna open this podcast with Christmas music this time. So that's just for you, Tetrodox.
We're gonna start doing
Mariah
the
Carey
just
comes
a
on.
5-minute segment of the Starlight Celebration music,
There we go.
or just play it in the background through the entire thing.
Yeah, they did remove the ban on my adding the sorting music from Spotify.
Oh,
So
nice.
I guess we're back on the menu for
Oh
stealing
yeah.
Maybe it
music
was
from
an
Square.
automated ban, and then a human reviewed it, and they're like, "This is fine."
That's nice. I just
Lovely.
assumed somebody didn't like me, like reported me, and
That's possible too.
yeah.
That could
I do that
happen.
every episode, and nothing has happened for me.
Oh well, one of these days you'll get me sometime. But anyway, sorry. Continue with the email.
Late spooky question. What monster or an M, etc., do you think is the scariest in terms of
Hmm.
design?
Hmm.
No copping out because of a monster's mechanic.
Okay, I was gonna say like slimes, but that's just because of their abilities.
Yeah.
What's the scariest looking monster just
Mhm.
aesthetically is the question.
Just aesthetically. You know what I like is the gnolls, like the werewolves from Shadowrun.
You think they're spooky?
I mean, kind of. I think the real answer is the vampires. Those are the real spooky like
Vampires
mobs.
or like the courses are kind of scary
Yeah.
looking if you're talking
I like
Halloween themed.
Yeah.
the there's like a special model, of course, that has like a creepy crown and like a orange robe or whatever, or like a maroon robe.
Mhm.
Those are
Oh,
cool looking.
Pandemonium Warden
Pandemonium
is
Warden's
pretty
pretty cool.
creepy and
I
spooky
really
in a
like
lot of ways.
Pandemonium. Yeah.
Yeah, like I really do love those mobs. What are they called again? The demons. They're
Like Dauger,
Yeah, something
Verger.
like that.
Yeah,
Diverger.
There you go.
there's that one model of the Verger that has the special mask and it has like a mustache.
Oh.
I love that one. It's in Escher Ruan.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know which one you're talking about.
It's like a golden mask with the
Yeah.
mustache with the mask.
I'll be honest
Ooh,
though, there's definitely like been some times through my years of playing the game where like I've gone to a fight and just like felt that pit in my stomach where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I've never done this giant fight before." Fighting like a botulus type NM back in
mm,
Void Watch days or something like that.
yeah.
Where I was like, "Oh my god, I'm kind of scared. I'm nervous right now. Look, got a little bit of the jitters when I'm trying to tank this mob for 18 people that are counting on me to not die." I think those are like the most scary instances, but I feel like that's kind of copping out because of the
It's
mechanics and
Yeah.
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
You're
That's
scared.
more like in like being worried about the fight. That's like a
Yeah.
mechanical
Yeah. Yeah.
fear.
I think aesthetically,
Um,
my answer would be like probably Ultima. Ultima is very unsettling looking.
Especially the newer model, it's more fleshy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got those like dangly arms with those really long
Yeah.
fingers. He looks like he's gonna grab you and take you away.
Mm.
And then he's got that tiny head.
I think all the like I mean, we just go down the list. All the emptiness mobs are kind of spooky.
They
Hmm.
don't like have faces though, so they
Yeah.
kind of look ambiguous to me.
I had a friend years ago that when every single time we did an Aeonic run, he would like just like be like, "Oh God, I fucking like the Duke Vipar and like the big bees."
Hmm.
He hated those. That
Mm.
they
They're
revolted him.
unsettling because their heads turn on a
Yeah,
swivel and
they kind of like jitter, and they've got their big stomachs that they
It sounds more
like
like a
they
phobia
yeah
than
yeah.
like a real
But I
thing.
guess like that's like a spooky fear. But yeah,
Mm.
I guess you're right.
I think one that we've missed is Kutrubs.
Good trips are cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like
Although
skeleton.
they make that whistle noise and it kind of takes you out of the
When they
moment.
like giggle and jump and go
Yeah.
woo, it
Hmm.
sounds
Yeah.
very.
There's one thing that's scarier than all of this, all that stuff, and it's Tetradox's last line is that he thinks each episode could be longer, and
Oh.
that's really what scares me
All right, let me.
Oh.
out
So
of
he
all
said,
this stuff.
already mentioned the Pandemonium Warden, not just because it took me 18 hours over 24 people's time, but I think it's pretty spooky for a guy in a chair. He's got the
Yeah.
teeth, claws,
Hmm.
and the ghost
And he's
guys
got
around.
that little belly. He kind of
Hmm.
looks creepy. He's kind of like he's creepy on multiple fronts.
I
Mm.
love the Vergers. They're probably my favorite mob in the game.
Mm,
Hmm.
Um, they're so cool the way they're just like lazily sitting in the chair and they
yeah.
lift their arm up and they laugh at you and shit and they snap their fingers. It's
Yeah.
very lazy.
Yeah, the
Very,
snap is cool.
Hmm.
I don't think they're scary
Six
looking.
6 to 8 hour episodes is what people are. I think people are wanting to like
Mm.
have something to listen to for the entire workday.
Yeah.
No, they want rage quit. They want Myth to give up.
Yeah,
Well, hold
I think
on,
that's the
hold on.
thing they don't understand is if they were 6 to 8 hours, I would
Yeah.
probably be like gouging my eyes out by the end of it.
I just realized the perfect solution,
Yeah.
guys. And
What's
this
up?
is, I can't believe I didn't think about this instantaneously.
Hmm.
If you want more Blurred podcasts, you can always tune into twitch.tv/Heghmoh,
There you
and we're
go.
likely streaming when the podcast isn't running.
Hmm.
And you can watch more of, my solo version
Hmm. Hmm. It's good. I watch
during
it
the
all the
off
time.
hours.
It's great.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to do while I'm at work is not work.
Buy that color.
Okay, so what do we got up next?
We have Kier Royale.
Jen from Odin.
That's Jen and Odin.
Yes.
Hello, Myth and friends. I recently got back into XI a couple months ago after a chill 15-year plus hiatus and have enjoyed listening to you guys while I catch up on everything you get to do in this lovely game. If you are ever in need of some JTE translation or
Oh,
have questions as to the exact phrasing of some things, feel free to ask. I'm a bilingual Japanese speaker and often enjoy listening to Magatate. I didn't know that's how they called it, and freshly picked videos from the XI team.
Mogitate instead
It's
of
a
like meditate. That's hilarious. I love that.
never heard of that. Is that a thing?
That's
I
really
didn't know.
cool. I would like maybe I'll see if we can email him back and get some clarification, because if we're mogitating every week, that's probably really good for our health.
Unless
I mogitated just now.
Mogitated all over. Sure.
what that means is Heghmoh just like glossed his eyes over as I'm reading. I don't know. Maybe those are two separate videos. I know Freshly Picked is the one thing they do once a month or so.
Mhm.
Maybe Mogitate is another video I'm not aware of.
Yeah, maybe. That's really cool though. We could definitely make use of a native Japanese speaker.
Yeah.
They
I think
say
a lot of times in Final Fantasy 11 in the community, like a lot of the communications go out in Japanese,
Mhm.
and like last week when the patch dropped, and the freshly pick went out, where everybody was scrambling to like Google Translate shit and
Yeah.
use Grok or whatever, and there were so many mistranslations.
Oh
So we
yeah,
would
yeah.
love that. We would love to have somebody who can give us a little insight.
Absolutely.
so. They go on to say it's a very early 2000s game dev vibe compared to the XIV letter lives. Interesting.
Hmm.
Selfish request, but I'd love an updated class breakdown from various mains, or maybe
Mhm.
even class interviews where you could bring
Mm,
on a core main or a scholar main and ask them how they feel about the class, what they would do if they wanted to start the class in 2025,
Mhm.
etc. Just a thought for a separate set of vids. Black Desert had a similar series done by a guy named Quendia on YouTube. That's a great example.
That's cool.
Anywho, have fun and keep on trucking. I'm now fantasizing about being a healer beast.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, if you've never healed on Beastmaster, Beast Sub Dancer with
Bracket,
Pondering
dude.
Peter, you just use I think it's curing waltz or healing waltz to remove debuffs, and then you just cure the party with Pondering Peter. I've
nice.
main healed a Dynamis run with that, and it's super fun.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, because Kraken Club Beastmaster obviously is like getting a shit ton of
Generates so much
CP,
CP.
and
Yeah.
then you got your bunny that's just like out there throwing out Kiraga 4s every 5 seconds. It's pretty great.
All you listeners out there, just get good, get a Kraken Club.
Or just I'm pretty sure you could just use like a blurred axe or something like that, and it would be just fine. Um, or if like you don't want a Kraken Club, but you're like super neurotic, you could make the like attacks 2 to 4 times Magian Trial Axe or something like that. I would never recommend
I
anybody
prefer
do
to
that.
tell
Yeah.
I prefer to tell all the peasants out there to get
Oh
good and
Jesus
stop. Get a
Christ.
job, get some money.
No. All right.
Just grab a Kraken Club. Look, do aim on Trove, get
Mhm.
a Ampula, get the new Ampula and sell it, and
Yeah.
then use that money to
Yeah,
buy your Kraken Club. Easy.
definitely, definitely.
Uh,
But thank you, Jen, for the email.
thank
That's really cool.
you. At the bottom, they say life is a means to peace, and I think that's very nice.
Oh, yeah.
All right, on to the
Awesome.
next
Thank
one.
you.
This one is from
Bart.
Bartle B on
Bart,
Asura.
just Bart.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jesus. Hey gents, I've been listening ever since the 5th episode when I had a Bonanza coupon dropped into my inventory. That was the 5th episode? Oh, the point 0.5. I see.
Mhm.
Point 5th. Sub 1 episode. I was too smooth brained to know what to spend it on. Still haven't spent it.
Mm.
And found your podcast tentatively named Blurred as a great resource. Been listening since then and have tuned into you guys' streams for the past few weeks. I wanted to say thanks for sharing and creating a community that has always been a cornerstone of this game after all. But onto the question. I've been thinking a lot about the economy of this game and can't wrap my head around something. The fact that there's a lot of gil being created out of thin air, sparks, accolades, Odyssey segments mainly,
Mhm.
with very little to sink it back into the economy. The only sinks I can think of are the 1 mil a piece high-end crafting mats. So I'm wondering if you guys have any opinions on the state of the game from that lens. The flow of gil in this game could be a fun conversion that you guys haven't cornered yet.
Mm.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that is I think that there's a lot of stuff, like, you make a good point that there's if you do even Odyssey every day, you're generating over 1 million gil a day. You've got, sparks and accolades. You've got so many things that are just feeding gil. And like teleports cost money and stuff like that, but it's not really equivalent.
mhm,
I can't really think of too many. Like, they kind of did away with a lot of the gil sync, like buying tools
yeah.
all the time, buying
I was talking about
ammunition
this.
all the time.
It's really interesting how the game inflates and deflates on a cycle.
Mhm,
Um, I mean, in the early 2020s, like maybe 2019, 2020, right before the Sparks got nerfed, everything was super expensive. Everyone had Infinity Gil, and then they nerfed Sparks, and
mhm,
I guess they removed a lot of Gil from the
Yeah.
system, bans,
yeah.
and then everything went cheap again for about a year or two.
Yeah. I think personally I think the Curia Moogle is their best version
Yeah.
of removing Gil from the game. I believe they could make more things like that where they're selling.
Do
Hmm?
that Moogle,
So
frankly.
yeah.
They should just add more to the Moogle.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um I think it would be hilarious if they really wanted to like take Gil out of the game to put like rare items, like throw a crep cloak on there for capped Gil just for the lulz. Like get the Gil out of the game if that's really what they want to do. I don't think they'll ever do that, and I think that's kind of a
Yeah.
ridiculous idea. But like there's a lot of ways they could do that if they needed to. But I think the inflation is less of a problem now than it was back in the Sparks days.
Yeah. Back before they had the limit on sparks that could be exchanged. I mean, we used
Right.
to exploit that pretty bad.
Right. And I don't see like 36 bot Galkas running around South Gustaberg anymore for like
Yeah.
crystals and things like that. So I feel like it's definitely like cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the gil that's being manufactured now is going more to real players than it is to RMT. To a
Yeah.
degree.
What's interesting is that, like, so much gil is like generated on a
Mhm,
daily basis.
mhm,
And, like, like somebody in Kiko said in chat, like, if you have too much gil, you're not building remas fast enough. But that money doesn't leave the economy, right?
right.
That's the question I think that Bart's bringing up, is like, that just exchanges players. So you have all this money getting injected. Where's it going?
Mhm,
Or are people just sitting on a billion gil? Like, and what do you do with it at that point? Um, and I don't know. I think that, like, there is an RMT factor to it, which is not healthy.
mhm,
Where a lot of gil gets generated and then it gets shuffled to other servers, and that technically leaves your local economy and moves somewhere else, and fucks up a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to that, really.
yeah.
Had a few comments to this. It's like because of the situation where they're entirely correct, and it's I think mostly Odyssey's fault, but the weekly 2 mil, 3 mil from Sparks and stuff doesn't help.
Mhm,
But Odyssey is spitting out like I don't know 10 mil a day for a party.
mhm,
That's kind of problematic.
yeah.
You're looking at
Yeah.
what 70, 80 mil a week for 6 players, and how many people are doing Odyssey?
Yeah. I
Um,
What if here's so we have things like old cases that you can sell from Odyssey, like old cases or like ichondrites and stuff that you're not going to use if you've got stacks and stacks of them. So what if you had like a stack of old cases and you could trade that to an NPC along with like 1 million gil or something like that for an old case plus one?
that's not enough.
100 million gil for plus three plus two earrings of your choice
Yeah.
to be able to pick one.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
money inflation
Trade
goes away
trade three
instantaneously.
plus twos and 100 million gil.
Yeah.
And you get to choose your own plus two
Yeah.
I
with,
think this
but you don't get to
conversation
choose the
got brought
rolls.
up
Hmm?
when the new items from Trove came out because everyone was like, "Well, isn't this good? How much is it going to go for?" And I was like, "Well, obviously it's going to go for Gil Cap because there's no reason to spend Gil for most
Yeah.
endgame players, and a lot of endgame players are just sitting on 2 Gil Caps, one in the Mod Garden and one on the character, like
Hmm.
Smog. sitting on a mountain of gold.
Yeah.
Um, I think the best solution to remove gil from the game, like, first of all, I don't think Odyssey gear should have ever been reduced in price based on server performance. I think they should have stayed at like the 7 mil per piece for
Yeah.
Nyame gear. That might be a hot take, but those pieces of gear are basically permanent. Like, they're gonna last you forever. I don't mind them having a price tag that's high once. They're still lower priced than any SU3 piece of gear.
Yeah.
Um, the best solution, in my opinion, is add crafting materials to content. So crafters have to make new stuff. Make the crafters make new stuff.
Yeah.
They will inevitably break most of that stuff
Yeah.
and spend gil on it.
That's what I was gonna say, is that like I think that the MMO system, that's where you're losing gil, because it's not just moving from player to player. Somebody's buying something, the gil is spent, it's traded for an asset, and then if the asset is broken at that point, then
The gil vanishes.
that skill, the gil essentially needs to be re-injected to replace that thing.
Correct.
But I don't think enough crafting happens anymore
Correct.
to keep up with that.
I do think it's totally correct that a lot of the old crafting mats that are technically not used for crafting but used for artifact upgrades, the ones that come from the NPC, that's a huge gil sink because they're like 1.2 mil a piece. But
Yeah.
most established players have and long have had those pieces of gear, so it's not like that's a recurring cost that's being drained.
Yeah.
Well, even then, like, what, that's a million gil. Say you do a million gil, just average it out. Say it's a million gil per item slot for your reforge, to in the +3 category or whatever. And granted, there's crafted versions that you need to upgrade, but like there's 22 jobs, five slots of gear each. You're at 110. So that's 110 million. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lot of gil, but like that's
out in a month or two
yeah,
at most. And then from then on, it's just profit.
yeah.
It's a genuine problem with the current end game. I'm glad they addressed it.
Yeah.
I hope Brainix thinks about an answer to that question, because we can throw darts at the wall all day and say like add more craft or add some silly item that we
Yeah.
want, or add more things for us to spend money on to the Moogle, like just basic necessities.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the Moogle answer, even though I'd like it, is it just makes crafting even less desirable.
Yeah. That's true. I am glad that like the even though the Moogle exists, it doesn't completely like replace like cooking at higher levels and
Oh,
stuff like that.
wait.
There's still what's up?
The
Thought of something?
the Amon Trove Ampula, that's the whole answer. Double attack, 100% uptime. There you
I
go.
hope
All
they
the
don't.
guild just
I
disappeared
don't
from
hope
the game.
they don't
yeah,
continue
obviously.
like that.
I don't
I like
I
that
don't know.
neat gimmick, but I don't want them to make like every new item to be that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually gonna but maybe like it might get rid of some of the guild
It
that
depends.
like
Yeah, what if they don't heed Dex's warning and there's an ammo piece for every stat, and they're just like, I don't know, whatever. Here's DT2 75.
75
Every time you get
for
hit,
It
one gil a
costs
second.
every time
Yeah.
you get hit, it's 10,000 gil.
Gee.
have it like
Yeah.
every time you get hit, it curses the enemy at the cost of 10,000 gil.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, I think they are thinking of this problem and they don't want to have to go through the painstaking process of making multiple sets of gear to craft. So they
Mm.
just threw the Ampula into the system. They're like, go drain all your banks, idiot.
I don't know. Limbus would be an easy one to do because they're talking about adding in gear sets. So just make people play or pay a bit of gil to get those,
Yeah.
and it should be all right. Especially if you consider that people that are doing Limbus and upgrading those armors and sets should theoretically already have like Dyna +3 and Omen +3 stuff ready to go. It shouldn't affect new players too much.
A very effective way of draining gil from the system in the 75 era was the fact that the Dynamis lamp cost 100K.
Mm,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
I mean, I would take if there was a option at some exchange rate of like 10x or 100x or whatever,
Hmm.
Limbus points to Gil. Like I could like when I'm capped, I have matters that I need to spend, but I don't have Limbus points for it. And I'm looking at like another 6 months of doing Limbus every week to be able to get enough points to get my earring upgraded or whatever. If I could just buy I need the matter still, but I could buy the RP with Gil,
Mm-hmm.
I'd take that.
Yeah, I
In
would take
their
that.
mind, that would be removing a sub though, because you might not play the game if you don't have a thing to do.
Mm.
But then imagine all the Gil that gets pulled out of the economy if I stop playing. Perfect.
Yeah, cool. Thanks Bart
Thank you,
for the
Bart.
email. It's cool. I think we have one more.
A really big one.
Oh yeah.
There's a picture here. Let me look at it.
Oh, so the
Oh, there's a
picture is in reference to the question that he's asking. So if you
Mm.
it'll make sense if you just read the question.
Sure. So Aliasama, Kate Sith. Hello, and everybody on the podcast. My name is Aliasama from Kate Sith server. Well, I guess it's Ragnarok now, so it's not Kate Sith. Liar.
Hmm.
Rip Kate Sith. Anyways, I've been playing since 2004, probably since the beginning, since it was way before COP came out. I love listening to you guys chat about FFXI since, unsurprisingly, it's my favorite game. It's everybody's
Hmm.
favorite game.
It should be.
Every episode is listening, or oh, sorry. Every episode is interesting, and I always wish I could provide my comments whilst you guys are talking. I've been wanting to give my 2 cents about a subject and ask a question that I cannot find the answer for. Oh God, I already pre-skimmed. One, I completely agree with Shiraj. Wrong. When he said in a previous episode that we need to have a trust that when we need a trust that we can gear with Rimas and various rare EX gear, like to make
I
the
think I said that. Hold on. I think that was my idea, by the way.
It might have been, but I don't think so.
roll the tape. I don't know. That feels like it'd be a little too powerful.
I mean,
Maybe.
I think bring back the adventuring fellow. That's where that idea came from when we were talking
I,
about it.
Mhm.
It's
I
the
think the
adventuring
adventuring fellow being like a mega trust would be a great idea.
fellow.
Mhm.
As a person that's almost 40, aren't we all? I don't have the same time to play as I had before, let alone time for a static to do sortie or other events. So, a few years ago, I made a second character that is my bard, which has Karn, Yalahorn, Dour Doblet, Marcius, and Lona Shade. You're crazy. If it took a while to gear this, it took a while to gear this, of course, as I joined my link shell for events, and they also helped me on occasion. I was able to make a stage 4 prime with about 20k galley a day. That's also crazy. I was
That's
able
awesome.
to I was able to do some progression in Odyssey and some other events. It's basically my trust that
Mhm.
can provide proper buffs, unlike Ulmia or Joaquin.
Yeah.
I manually control both characters. I manually control both characters manually, as I don't like to use automation.
Mhm.
If I didn't have this second character, I'm not sure I'd be having as much fun with the game. My main character is primarily thief, and my main job is samurai. Sorry. And my main, it's my main and samurai, but I have other jobs as well, like paladin, blue mage, black mage, warrior, monk, and white mage. Anyways, I feel really strong. I really feel like having a trust that could gear options up a lot more of the game for people in my situation where I want to play, but I'm not very flexible in my schedule.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, How do we feel about making a busted trust? I do think the whole adventuring fellow concept was like the precursor to trust,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's been since neglected. I do think that's like the answer right under their nose if they wanted to do it.
Yeah. I think that like adventuring fellow was really cool because you could outside of like the limitation of only be able to use it for so many kills and so much time per day and all this other stuff,
Mhm.
but like you could trade it armor and weapons from a list and it would use those in battle, which was cool. So if you want to do a certain weapon skill combination,
Mhm.
you could give it, a great sword if it worked with your club or whatever it was.
Or it's 3 modes
um
you can choose from for it too.
yeah, you could kind of set it to tank, healer, damage dealer, that kind of stuff. um the different like quests to get advanced tactics and whatnot unlocked. There was some
Had,
really cool stuff there.
Mhm.
it had multiple limit breaks, and it had like a unique special ability at the end.
Yeah. So I don't know if making one really good, really strong trust, like pumping up the adventuring fellow and making it augmentable is enough. I like the idea, but I also think trusts need to be rounded up as well.
Well,
Just
they are
like in
doing that.
general. Well,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying like it can't be one or the other. It needs to be both, unless they round up all the trusts like significantly.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I think if they bump all the trusts up to like, I don't know, 130 or whatever the number is going to be.
I'd be
Um,
shocked if they made it that much.
I, are they even 119 now? I think they are. But even if okay, whatever it is, if
I
they
think
bump it up 5 levels,
there's a quest too that increases their strength, or
yeah,
is
you
that?
have to have like
Yeah.
most of them to unlock it.
Yeah.
It's
I
like over the
feel
limit.
they're like 115 to 117 right now. And that's
All right.
they might actually be 119, but they don't feel like they're 119.
Either way, like bump them up 5 levels. I don't
Mhm.
think that's enough. Like I think that's their plan, but I
Yeah,
don't think it's enough to make them viable,
right.
especially for what Aliyasama's purpose is, which is like having someone comparable to a player, but not quite. Like
Right.
Yeah.
it's a character they have on the side. I do this too with my ults. I manually control them. They give
Mhm.
me buffs, and then they just sit there. Like it makes me strong, and then they
Hmm.
just park. It's not the same as having a real person that will do buffs and then like do combat with you.
Right. Yeah.
But you need a trust that gives buffs that aren't dog shit, right? Like the bards give like 2-minute songs and they just do dumb
Well,
songs. And it's
also
like,
like,
okay,
yeah, we were talking about this actually earlier today, where it's like, can you imagine, and this will never happen, but can you imagine like the Final Fantasy 12 Gambit system applied to trusts,
Mhm.
where you could like tell them, give them logic of like, when this happens, do this, when, put up these buffs in
That
this
would be
order.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
works. I've never played.
Yeah. That'd be awesome if they could do that, but I feel like a system like that might be too complicated for this game.
If people can play pop and blue mage and stuff, I think they can figure it out.
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh, you mean as a game dev, not as a player?
I mean both. Like if like could you imagine going through a menu and like in game being like, okay, bard, checkbox victory march, checkbox honor march, or whatever other march, checkbox a third song, then go to your white mage, checkbox dia haste protect shell for this character and this like that's a whole lot of stuff to do in the game. And
It does seem like a lot of work, but I don't know. Things like that where you customize as much as you want.
Mhm.
It, it's it leaves it more open to the player, right? Like if the
Right.
player wants to be really precise and configure it a specific way, it'll be more beneficial in niche situations.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think the most painful part though with trust is when you have like, you know, you just want to farm and
Mhm.
you're fighting enemies, you're killing stuff, whatever, and your bard takes off the haste to the entire party because somebody else's MP dropped below a certain threshold, and
I have
then
a
like
really bad one.
your
Yeah.
DD has ballad up now for 5 minutes, and there's nothing to do about it.
Or
You
even
might
better,
not know
Um,
this pain.
yeah,
You might not know this pain because I don't think you play Corsair, but if you use a red mage that isn't like King of Hearts,
yeah,
like if you use
you won't get
Koromoro,
haste. Yeah.
he's like, "You want flurry, right? You want
yeah,
flurry,
yeah,
right?"
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah. That's terrible. That's
I mean,
Um,
even if it was like a dumbed down version of like, you could go to some NPC and talk to them and be like, I want to train my trust, or I want to specialize my trust, and say like,
Mhm.
you click on Joaquim in the trust list and be like, I want you to use Honor March, or not Honor March. You probably wouldn't do that, but Victory March and Valor Minuet. Like, and at least like give them a favor of what they would tend to do. But
Mhm. I could
I
see
think it
some
would be
like
nice.
goofy shit too. Like if there was like a cap haste option, then you get
yeah,
all your bards start casting like 4 different haste songs on you just because they're different bards and they do dumb shit. And then your red mage is also casting haste and you have no attack buffs. And Sylvie casts indie haste, and I don't know. It just feels like it would be asking for a
I think
bunch
my
of weird
solution to
stuff.
the current trust issues, outside of them being weak,
Mhm.
is just
you have a
comprehensively.
solution to my trust issues.
That's called
Not
therapy,
yours.
Heghmoh.
Not yours. You're giving me trust issues
Oh,
right now.
jeez.
Um, I think the answer to like the things that we're griping about is a comprehensive overhaul of all the trust, which they don't want to do. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think for example, I think red mages, one should haste and never flurry, and one should flurry and never haste. So you pick the one you
Yeah.
want.
that would be cool.
Um,
Yeah.
I think bards should have pianissimo,
Mhm.
right? Like you summon the trust, it identifies your job, it sings a list based on your job, and
Yeah.
pianissimo is the other trust.
Mhm. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Personally, I'll be shocked if they do anything more than like slide the level bar up by 5
No,
points
that's all
or
they're gonna
something.
do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm saying to do it right, they would
Yeah.
need to comprehensively change all the trusts.
Yeah. Yeah. For
I
sure.
think also we briefly skimmed through like the trust tier list that Shiraj talked to me about and like what we thought were good trusts,
Mhm.
but the list is really small and there's a lot of trust in the game. I think most of them just need a comprehensive boost,
Mhm.
like the Valenierial treatment.
Oh yeah.
make them all AoE weapon skill one
I'm not
shot
saying
everything.
that. I'm not saying that.
Going to
They could call
sortie.
me hero to hero overnight with one massive buff. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of trusts just need a big buff to make them viable, especially DDs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
All right,
always
so Alia had
frustrating.
a second part to the email. Do you want to get started on
Yeah.
that?
Let's go ahead.
I have a mystery that I've been trying to solve for years now. But to be fair, I never posted this question on any forums, and it's
Mhm.
the first time I ask anyone outside of the game. Question: how do you increase the sell price of items that you sell to an NPC? The reason I ask is because items that I sell on my main, Alia-sama, always sell higher than that on the secondary, Rydia-sama. I like your naming convention. I've attached a screenshot for reference, which shows one character has a sell price of the Acheron shield for 28,000 gil, and one has the sell price for 27,000 gil.
Mhm.
They go on
Same.
to say, I've attached a screenshot, but since you might think that it's a virus, no, I don't. Alia sells the Neutron Shield for this and Rydia for that. I know it has nothing to do with rank or fame, as both of them are rank 10 Bestock with max fame in all regions. Both
Mm.
finished all missions. Since I have Alia-sama since 2004, I've completed more quests with her than Rydia-sama. Could that be it? The number is actually different. The number is actually different quests completed? Question mark. I hope you guys know.
I'll be honest. I always
The
thought it
only
was
thing that
fame.
the only thing I know is that it's fame.
That was
Um,
my understanding.
yeah, and it could be that like maybe it might be like multiple fames, multiple different like categories of fame affecting it. Usually,
Mhm.
it's the region that you're in. So like if you're selling in Bastock, it's calculating based off your Bastock fame. Um, I mean, if they're both capped, like you might see if go do some of the repeatable quests and
Mhm.
like try to push it up a little bit further or something like that. Maybe they're both at the highest threshold but not like capped out. I'm not sure, but my understanding has always been, yeah, fame was the only thing.
On the wiki, fame is broken down by tiers per level, tier levels per area, and affects the prices with NPCs, what they offer for both buying and selling, as well as open up quests and previously available or unavailable options. So yeah, I mean, like, fame should be the main thing affecting your buy and sell
Hmm.
prices.
Mhm.
Um, I will say that a Duelin has some unique ones if you're trying to sell there. Duelin's sell prices, I think, are not strictly fame, but also dependent on the percentage of, what do you call it? It's like the wilds, how
Oh
your
yeah,
outfit
yeah,
is doing. Because I know each coalition has like a tower at the top of it based on how maxed out they are, and
Hmm.
if they're not maxed, you don't get max values. There's
Right.
also an item you can wear, or maybe it's a key item that increases the vendor prices in a duel line.
An item you can wear?
Yeah, I think it's a body.
Oh, that's really strange. I never would have guessed that. But regardless, I think he's only in Bastok. So really, I think what happened is at some point you probably did some back alley deal with this NPC on your main character that you forgot about,
yeah.
and probably just never remembered to do that with your secondary
Mhm.
character. That's my only guess. If it's not, if you're saying it's 100% not fame, that's my only guess.
Our overall understanding is that it's fame,
Mhm.
so I would say do the due diligence of going through both characters and verifying that you're max fame. And it might not just be Bastok, it might be like Bastok, Norg, Selbina. I know they're kind of interconnected, but one might be higher than the other. I don't know how that works,
Mm,
but
fair.
worth verifying.
Yeah, cool. And thank you
If,
for the email.
if you get through and find out that you're all capped and you still have incorrect prices, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
What was the? I wasn't really paying attention to the numbers, but
Okay.
what was the difference in price? Like,
I thought you were
About a
just gonna
thousand,
say you just weren't paying attention. So
yeah,
about 800 gil, 700 gil.
800 gil.
yeah.
I mean, that's not negligible
Yeah,
necessarily,
of course,
but
because we're talking like Acheron shields.
28K total. So yeah, it's not.
yeah.
28,101 versus 27,600. So it's like over the course of selling 30 Acheron shields, you're losing like 7K. No, a little bit more, like
Mhm.
30K. I mean, money out of my pocket, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to make that money, man.
All about the Benjamins.
Yeah, but cool. Thanks for the emails and
We
everybody
appreciate
else.
you
Yeah,
and all of you, and I'm sorry I'm a loser.
you're not a loser. Well, I don't want to rush to judgments here, but so I did want to mention real quick that I've been really, really terrible at writing people's emails back lately.
Mm.
So I apologize for that. I've
Oh,
been
I know
kind of
you've been
busy.
doing that,
Hmm.
and I need to cut you off in that. Why are you doing that? If they care about the show,
Hmm.
they should be listening to our answer.
Well, I mean,
True,
yeah, but
true, true.
look, I want everybody that emails us to feel like they're special to us because they are.
You're reading their email. They're
And
super special.
and I feel like they deserve to have an email written back to them if they took the time to write us. But the problem is there's two things. The first problem is that I kind of have a life.
Yeah.
And the second problem is that every now and then Dex gets on here and complains that we don't get enough emails and that we get like
Yeah.
15 in a week.
Four
Um,
isn't enough. I hope we get 10 next
I
time.
hope I think 4 is a good number. In fact, uh,
Hmm.
but I do appreciate the emails. I apologize. I do plan on eventually trying to answer and respond to them uh over email as well as on the show. I
I
just
have a
have
happy
a
middle
whole
ground
lot
for
going
you
on. What's up?
where you I have a happy middle ground where you can feel satisfied
Hmm.
in that you've given them a proper response,
Hmm.
but also you're not like forced to answer in a long-winded way that takes up your time. Um, when we cover them in the episode, you can then follow up in everybody and be like, "Thanks for the reply. We we read out your email on episode X. Please check it out."
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, sounds like a super lazy good way for me to avoid
Yep,
doing
I
stuff
know
like
you love that.
that. I do. I am quite lazy.
I heard
But
that
yeah,
I heard from this that Myth is committing to
commit.
respond to every single email that comes
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
with equal or greater word count than the email that was
Equal or
sent.
greater.
That's why.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's here's a little insight into the life myth, right? Like a week or two ago, things I thought had like finally settled down, and I like put an announcement up on my Discord, and I was like, hey, we're finally like getting everything under control. And I'm finally going to be able to start like streaming more regularly and working on more videos and stuff like that. And then less than a week later, I had to walk all of that back and be like, actually, it's probably going to
JK.
be a while before I'm streaming regularly again, because life is just out of control. So it's just one of those things. We're
We'll
out
get it
here
up.
doing our best.
That's like every single time I come back. There's probably like 10 YouTube videos that I have that are like, man, life's been crazy, but I'm getting back on the wagon, guys. 2 videos in a row.
Yeah,
And then like it's another 3 months before I post.
right. See, you know how it is. It's tough out there, man. You got life to deal with.
Wait, what?
But anyway, so the topic of the day, we need to get back into our Unity discussion.
Unity items part 2. Where did we leave off? Hands?
We have finished bodies, so we will be on the hands now. Let me pull this up real quick
May
here.
God have mercy on my soul.
Yeah, and to be honest with you guys, I haven't even looked at these yet, so I don't know.
I just went to hands and there's something staring me in the face.
Is it the macabre?
No,
No. Okay.
my worst enemy.
What's that? The Gazu bracelets. There
Ah,
you
shit.
go. So the topic of the day is trying to determine which Unity items are still worth doing. We did part 2 or part 1 2 episodes ago, so the episode prior to last, and we did everything up to the bodies. Now we'll be going through the rest of the list. If anybody's not familiar with the list that we're following, it is the BG Wiki Unity rewards page, and we're just going down the list straight up. So super
And
easy to follow along.
the previous part 1 was episode 19, I believe.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the hands? Are how many good options are on here? Are there like must-haves? Are there some niche items on here? What do you think?
I don't know about Summoner,
Mhm.
so I cannot speak to the Lamasumits or the Asteriumits.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
I do not know enough to say one way or the other confidently just by skimming at them. Like, I assume the Lamasu aren't good enough because
Mhm.
they're just perp costs. But I don't know how good all base stats 30 is. I don't know. I don't think you need Kate Sith level +1. Maybe you do. The Asteriomits on face value seem a lot better because they have Avatar magic attack bonus plus 26, burst bonus plus 10%. That seems kind of strong, but
I would
maybe it's not.
feel like that's got to be outdated at this point with I know the SU3 for Summoner was quite strong for a long time. I feel like the Empyrean +3 is quite good.
I'll, I'll,
I would
I'll
hope they're
I'm
outdated by
not a
now.
summoner and I don't know summoner shit,
Yeah.
but my assumption from absorbing through osmosis other people's statements on summoner was that the SC3 set was almost strictly for skill
Okay.
and therefore was used for blood pact wards.
Mm.
I,
You know
but
who is
there
a
might
summoner? Heghmoh. And Heghmoh, you're
Heghmoh.
being awfully quiet
Oh, yeah,
during
yeah.
this
Yeah.
summoner conversation.
Oh, man. I feel like I've played Summoner um a little bit. Asteriumits, I feel like Avatar like perpetuation cat cost and stuff is fairly negligible
Yeah,
nowadays. Um
especially for
but and I don't
Carbuncle.
know. Yeah, and like
Mhm.
Carbuncle level plus I don't know how much people really even use Carbuncle for the level. Um I don't know.
They just both
I feel like we would probably hear about it if it was good.
so of those two items, I have no clue.
Mhm.
Outside of those, I would say the only ones that are like decent are the Tatanashi, the Macabre, and the Gazu bracelets. But
Mm.
Of the three, I think the macabre are the most useful.
I think we should go through the macabre and the Gazu and kind of break down what they're used for, because we had an episode earlier that was kind of shitting on the Gazu bracelets, and I want to point out that they are good sometimes, just not in the set that we were kind of picking on.
You are welcome to spearhead that argument.
Why they're good?
Yeah.
I use them on Geomancer TP. So
Not Naomi?
no. So for jobs that are using Nyame and don't have like a lot of good haste options, they're very good. And Geomancer and some other jobs are gonna have lower accuracy, so it does help during those times. It's not gonna be something that it's like the Geomancer set is typically like 4 out of 5 Nyame and Gazu bracelets, because it'll help you cap haste and it'll give you some extra accuracy.
My argument is if you need haste, you can change your belt. And let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be needing haste anymore now that the earring exists.
The earring, sure, but you still want the accuracy. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up my GeoCP set right now. But what do you use the macabre bracelets for?
Isn't that mostly just a cure piece?
You tell me, Dex.
I'm not a paladin.
Yeah, they're basically a cure piece. I don't use them on Paladin. You could. The cure potency is nice. I personally feel like ever since Majesty has been instituted, I don't really worry too much about cure potency on Paladin, because you get so much natively.
I don't play paladin, and I was looking to make one at one point, and
Mhm.
I was going through people's luas and going through paladin guides online,
Yeah.
and these were always mentioned in those lists.
Yeah, it
Did we
sounds.
lose Heghmoh?
Yeah, we did, but that's okay. We will keep plugging along. What
Yeah, my
else?
understanding was they're an option. They're a strong option, but you might make sacrifices in many other places to have a stronger defensive cure set.
Mhm.
Welcome back, Heg.
Oh, thanks. I like. I was like 15% haste is really good, but you're sacrificing a lot on like what you could get from like another piece of gear, and there's so many sources of haste. And I stopped talking, and it was just silence, and I sat there for like 30 seconds.
Did you just disconnect, or what happened?
I don't know. Discord just like decided it didn't want to play audio anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
We are talking about the macabre gauntlets, which are a
Mm.
cure piece for paladin. Um, I I agree that Myth said that you don't really need them. You can use
Mhm.
Majesty and have other sets. I think it's an option that you would choose and weigh other options against it. Like it's got enmity and cure potency, so
Yeah.
it just depends on how defensive you want your cure set to be.
Mhm. So,
Um,
for the let me check, make sure I'm not saying something stupid here, but I'm pretty sure the reason I'm not using the Cornelius belt, say, to
Mm.
take over for the Gazi bracelets, is that I'm using Wind Buffet belt for a triple attack, which is gonna be the triple attack, and quadruple attack is probably gonna beat out the double attack from Naomi. But anyway, I haven't looked at that set in a while. There's probably some updating to do, but I do know that the Gazu bracelets are good for that set. For weird melee sets where you're like 4 out of 5 Naomi or 5 out of 5 Naomi and you don't have anything better to do.
I mean, it's 81 accuracy. It's a lot,
It
but
is.
it's actually like 91. But
Yeah. So,
it's just so defensively, and it doesn't really provide any multi-hit or anything. I think you can make a better overall set without them. I do think they it's a fine piece for that purpose specifically, and
mhm,
not in the sets that we were reviewing previously.
right.
Um,
It's not something I would use on like a typical DD set. It's
no,
something that, like, if you are DDing on a job that doesn't have
doesn't
a lot of options, that might
yeah.
come in.
It's more for niche jobs.
Mhm.
And I do think we're at a point in time in the meta or in the game of Final Fantasy 11 because of how power creep happens
Mhm.
that an ideal set would no longer have these, in my opinion.
Probably. There
Um,
that would be something to like put into the calculators
yeah.
to really like scrutinize.
Well, I don't know if I trust the calculators, but I get what you're saying.
I would probably use the newer one that has just a compare and contrast for sets as opposed to like the
Yeah.
Costra spreadsheet or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
That's not something that I typically use, but there's the one where you can just plug in and see the straight differences in stats. That's how I would compare them.
We've gone over this, and people in the comments yell at me because
Mhm.
those calculators are set for everything, and it's specifically the conditions the person set for that thing, and that's why they land
Yeah.
that. Like, well, guess what? Conditions change, and it's not reasonable for everyone to have 40 different TP sets for different
Right.
scenarios.
Yeah. No, I not a big fan of those.
No. How do you feel about Tatanashi gloves?
Um, yeah, it's not particularly a set that I use very
I feel like
often.
I feel like all Tatanashi um just don't quite get there in one
Mhm.
way or another.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of accuracy, store TP and triple attack, and then like there's no defensive values,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
haven't
just
touched these outside of doing like silly um mythic AM3 sets for
Yeah.
warrior.
I
I
mean,
know
I
for
think
Since
that
like
Ranger,
Pada came out.
I know for
Tanahashi for like
Ranger,
warrior and samurai was like
Yeah.
super crucial
really early on.
5 years ago. Five
Mhm.
Yeah.
years ago. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's less so now.
Yeah.
Was it really crucial for Samurai? I thought Samurai kind of like did without it.
I don't know if
There were a couple
Sam.
pieces. I can't remember which ones, but there were a couple pieces that were
I don't think it
really
was the
good.
hands because the Samurai used the Hasso hands always,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So maybe it was the feet, and they didn't use
Mhm.
the abjuration feet that have Zanshin on them. I don't know,
What about
but
monk? I feel like that might be a good monk piece, but I don't play monk, so
Mm.
what do you guys
that's
think?
probably correct because Monk loves multi-hit.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, I know that they were used a lot on Ranger if you're not using a Kraken Club.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Are you just talking meleeing, or would you still shoot with
Melee.
those?
No, you
Probably not.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
There's no benefit whatsoever to shooting in
Right.
these.
Right. Cool. Any other hands?
I do think these gloves, as well as all Tatanashi, are no longer really viable, but they might be a good transition period piece for a newer player. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like, are they gonna? If a new player can do Shedu, they could probably be doing something else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it for the hands. The wings, the ones we didn't talk about, are kind of just hot
Yeah.
trash
I don't feel like there's a lot of good pieces in the hand section overall.
now.
Um
And even less so in the next section, the pants.
yeah, moving on to the legs. Um shoot, this isn't the answer
I think there's
Sublugar
only one that's
thing.
worth talking about
Yeah.
personally.
What's that? The Tanashi?
No, the Zora Subligar.
Zor Sublugar. What are you using that for?
It's mostly a crit hit rate piece.
Hmm.
Again, like most things, this is kind of fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
It's also an enmity piece for non-tank jobs.
Hmm. Okay.
I use it for enmity on Blue Mage. It's used for CDC for the multi-hit plus the critical hit rate. I have it in my evisceration set for a few jobs, but that might need to be changed. I haven't looked at evisceration in a long time.
Hmm.
It's used for bad weapon skills, but crit weapon skills outside of Dragoon tend to be like good for newer players because they scale quickly
Right.
without skill damage.
Right.
And once you start getting more powerful gear, all the weapon skill damage weapon skills tend to surpass critical hit rate weapon skills. Monk might be
Hmm.
another one that's an exception to that rule.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like monk is just kind of in its own category in a lot of these situations, but it's just because the weapon skills function so differently from the typical like warrior dark Sam. What about the augury Kooses? I feel like those were popular for a while, weren't they?
Were they?
I feel like I've seen them and stuff, but I don't use them myself. And I've never used
My
them.
The only
But
thing I know is that I think some jobs used them for magic attack bonus when there wasn't a lot of options.
yeah,
Mm.
I feel like it's an old piece that it's definitely been set aside, but I feel like they had a use at one point. But
Because
maybe
Maybe like
46
Mhm.
Red Mage might have used them or something. I remember being, and Asuidity pants too, I think were a summoner thing that were commonly used, but I'm not sure if they still are.
Yeah.
I hope those aren't still good and I'm just stupid because I don't know summoner stuff. Hopefully some summoner will email us and tell us what Unity
Mm.
pieces are amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait for
Yeah.
the summoner email from Fraud and to
From
tell
the
us that we're
summoner
all an
expert to
idiot.
do the
Yeah.
summoner expert as was
And
recommended.
just all
Um,
caps, summoner burn all the things like for 1,000 lines.
I'll read
Yeah.
it. I don't have to agree with it.
Still good for summoner idle, they're
Hmm.
saying.
Yeah, that makes
Be-
sense for perpetuation cost and refresh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it's got refresh and perpetuation costs down, it's basically additional refresh.
Hmm.
To the augury quizzes, I think they were good for Dark Knight, 46 mab. I could
Mm,
be wrong though.
Oh yeah, for those fatty Dark Knight magic bursts. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking
hell
about.
I
yeah.
love a fatty.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, that's really it for pants. Tatanashi, I think I could say the same exact thing I said about the hands.
Yeah. They're pretty much the exact same thing. Not
Lots of
something that I would.
accuracy,
Yeah.
no defense.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, again, I think like pre-Empyrean, maybe Monk used those or something like that, but
I think
Mhm.
say something different about the legs and the hands. I think 5 haste on legs is really low.
Is it?
yeah.
Yeah, you want like 6 to 8 on legs.
Hmm. Yeah, because don't like
8 is
malignants have
like
like 9 or something crazy like that?
um
I feel like it's pretty high.
I use Volt, which have 9.
Yeah, malignants has 9.
Malignance
Crazy.
is not. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough to not have such a high amount on the
Hmm.
legs. Legs are really important for haste.
I think it balances out with the jobs too, because jobs that were using that like during the era that it was happening with Tatnashi, they'd be using like the Ioseka belt, which has a lot of haste, or
Yeah.
the Selfie belt, stuff like
Mm.
that, which has a lot of haste. It kind of balances
To
out
not be a
for
hypocrite, because I just complained about haste prior, in
Mhm.
that in the modern day, haste is a lot similar to DT. It's a lot easier to cap haste.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That
Remember
would have been
back
a
in 75 when like you had 8% haste in your set
you're like, wow,
and
I'm fucking ripping.
yeah, you had like a Walahar turban and maybe a Swift belt, and that was like it.
Well, it was like you had a belt that gave haste,
Mhm.
and that was it. And you're like, I'm fucking awesome. And then the
Oh yeah.
Waller return, you're like, I can physically feel myself as faster.
Those were the days. So if we're diving into feet next, I gotta say
Oh
real
boy.
quick, I'm
Here's one I
gonna
love.
I'm gonna kind of like dig on my sortie group again real quick. But there is one
Okay.
guy that just will not shut up about the hippo socks.
I love them. I was
And
gonna say they're the best.
and because he doesn't shut up about it, I'll never get them. And just
Oh, you're missing out.
so McDougal, thank you for that. Thank you for eternally putting me off the
What
hippo socks just out of
Google's
spite.
correct, and you're wrong.
what is it? Because the latent effect flee, is that like
Yeah,
triggered?
So,
it's really good.
I'll make the argument for him.
Go
I
ahead.
wear the hippo socks in most
Mhm.
sets for defensive / idle.
Yeah.
Um, Nowadays, it's extremely easy to hit DT cap. You don't need the feet slot.
Mhm.
You can use adamantite armor, the null mask. Like, there's a lot of things to hit DT cap quite easily.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so where do the hippo socks compare to Nyame, for example? If you're not including DT, they have a little bit less defense, a little bit less evasion, and a little bit less Mava. And it's very little considering the Unity upgrade of evasion and the augment of evasion.
Mhm.
Um, while running around, what are the worst things to get hit by? It's like stun, bind, and
Mhm.
gravity. So resist bind is amazing on idle piece.
Mhm.
When you're getting hit by more than one target, getting a latent flee effect can like literally save you or an entire run for your group, depending on what the content
Hmm.
is. like it allows Paladin in Odyssey to go downstairs and grab mobs and then flee back up for free. It's super super awesome and helpful. I
Counter
just think like
offer, like everything that you're making or everything that you're saying makes complete sense. It seems like
well,
it seems
I
like
don't
a
like it.
really good argument. Counter offer, he annoyed me, and now I associate that with the feat, so I'll never get
Yeah.
them.
So I'll say McDougal,
Uh-huh.
being McDougal, he
Yeah.
probably was heavy-handed in his appraisal of these and
Yeah.
The other
was
thing is,
over.
I think there were a couple times where he forgot to toggle out of his Ammonon set with Hippo Socks and just like exploded when he pulled some foam ores or something.
That sounds like
So,
player error to me.
well, yeah, but I'm gonna associate that with them until for
Well,
all
that's just
eternity. Yeah, yeah. So I think my argument is right. Ignore the Hippo Socks, based off of principle, if nothing else.
Yeah. That sounds fair.
No, they're a good piece. They're very
I
handy.
would highly recommend players get the Hippo Socks.
Mhm.
You can cap your DT without the feat slot. They're an amazing piece to have um in your idle tanky set, just running around. If you plan to get hit by mobs, these are awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
What else do we
Shoot
have in here?
for movement speed. I'm a Genetic Ring kind of guy, so I
Yeah.
don't like the Jute Boots.
Mhm.
However, if you don't like the Genetic Ring, then by all means, if you're Thief or Ranger.
Yeah. Thief or Ranger only, though. That's unfortunate.
I do think Ranger is already on Carmine, so it might
Yeah.
be, and Thief has their own movement speed
Yeah.
in AF shoes,
Mm.
so they kind of just don't serve a real purpose.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. Hmm. Yeah,
They're just
I
kind of like a
probably
relic of
avoid
bygone days.
these. Yeah. Well, here's a question. Did Unity come out after Omen or before?
That's a Shiraj question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like Unity might have come out before. But if it did come out before, it might have just been an option prior to the JSE. If not, then there's no point.
Yeah.
So that could be an older use for them. I wouldn't recommend anybody make it right now.
If you need the movement speed on those two jobs, I
Mhm.
would personally recommend Carmine for Ranger and AF for Thief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. How about Regal pumps?
You tell me, are those still good because of the fast cast for White Mage?
I don't use them for fastcast and white mage. It's been an option, but I think, gosh, I can't
Is
even
it better?
remember what I'm using now. What's that?
Is there better fast cast with Panga maybe?
Panga probably is better for fastcast. I feel like Regal pumps were very popular for a long time, and they're still like obviously a good fastcast piece because you're getting 5 to 7.
Yeah, they
Um,
might be Babby's first fast cast piece, which is
yeah,
totally acceptable.
yeah, and the nice thing is you don't have to upgrade them to R15. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to spend money, um, but you can go out there and kill the Valkyrie Imperator, which is one of the easier fights.
Yeah.
Um, that's definitely not a bad piece to pick up.
That's
And
definitely a good like building a new character piece to just grab.
yeah,
It's not hard to get. It's not worth upgrading. Just
hmm
good as it is. Fresh out the box.
yeah.
Literally.
And then we have Tatanashi again, which I think
Uh,
we have.
More Tanashi, huh?
Yeah, I gotta say
again,
though,
or
I like the way that Tatanashi looks.
oh, it's sick.
Oh,
I
really?
love.
Yeah.
If you want a lock style, that's a totally
hmm
different argument.
Yeah,
Amazing look.
I think if we were giving it a tier list, I'd give it at least a
Oh, an appearance
7.
score?
Yeah, yeah,
7
yeah.
Heghmoh?
A 7 out of if we were grading it A through D, I'd give it a 7.
Oh, okay.
Because of the appearance, you know what I mean?
On a scale
Hmm.
of Fruit Loops to Lucky Charms, I
hmm
think it's a Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that.
Good. So we can go
Oh,
ahead. You got something
what was I
else?
gonna say? Shit, I was gonna say something else, but
hmm
it's probably stupid, so I forgot.
Here's a question for you.
Mhm.
Um, do
Oh,
you?
before I
Mhm,
remembered it.
mhm.
Why does a Tatanashi set not have a helmet?
because it looks too cool for one. The headpiece would ruin it. It would, because
It could look amazing.
maybe.
Gold, and orange, and purple. And...
Can you imagine? It was actually the lore behind this one. The
Mhm.
dev team, the artist that created the Tatanashi set, made like 47 different drafts, and the pressure got to him,
Yeah.
and he actually quit. He quit making armor sets after then because he couldn't finish this one, and he didn't think that he had it in him anymore, and so they implemented it into the game. And his name was Yashihiro Tatanashi, the name
Oh,
after him.
yeah. You know what I
Yeah.
really think the reason is? I think they were too lazy to do it, because
Yeah.
the original set came out with ZNMs, right? And there
Mm.
were 3 ZNM paths that ultimately led to Tumult Curator. So that
Tumult
left
Curator.
us with 4 pieces, and they were like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't need a headpiece, because
The
they're
Tumult
not gonna.
Curator should drop both the head and the body, frankly.
No, it's too much, man. You're asking too much now.
So Heghmoh, did you pull that story out of your ass?
Yeah, I just made that up just now.
No,
I made it up.
Heghmoh knew that off the cuff. Like he's very familiar with the
Yeah.
I'd be remiss not to mention that Chiraj in the chat says Tatanashi feet are best in slot for Samurai TP with Zanshin builds if you
Mhm.
ignore the squishy aspect, because they have no defensive
Mhm.
value whatsoever.
Hmm.
I would have further questions to that, because I know almost every Zanhaso build I see samurais use the abjuration feat. I forget what they're called, but
The Rio or whatever.
Ryo Tsunae.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
I never see people use Tatanashi. I see people use the Ryo. So
Hmm.
I'm not a samurai. Also, I love saying I'm not this job, but I don't know. I'm sure there's a world in which a samurai would want to use these. It's just
My response to Shirash would be, come say it to my face.
you're just a bully.
I mean, yeah. You're not
He
wrong.
says he's referencing Bipin's set, and Bipin is Lord and Savior of samurais, so I have to agree with Bipin.
Yeah, no, obviously, like if Bipin recommends you a set, blindly and mindlessly put it on as fast as possible.
Yeah. So let's change our appraisal then. Every samurai must get these. Mandatory.
Yes. Got it.
If you don't have these as a samurai, you're an idiot loser.
Whoa. That's gonna be our quote of the day, everybody. You're an idiot. All right.
The real like reveal on this is you guys don't know that Bipin's real name, Yashihiro Tatanashi.
He actually designed these specifically for his samurai.
Yashihiro Tatanashi.
Oh, man.
What a hero.
That's
Literally.
crazy. So here's something that I actually didn't know before just now.
Among many other things.
Yeah, no, trust me, I don't know a lot. there's not a lot that I know. But here's just like one more thing on the massive pile. I didn't know that there was +1 versions of the Abyssia gear, because I've never looked at the 98 and lower equipment on UNM.
Oh, like Pearl?
Yeah.
Pearl and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's Aurora +1 sets.
Yeah.
That are related to UNM.
I also did not know that until I scrolled through this when we were looking at it before.
Yeah, I can't believe
and
people
actually really easy to get.
This.
Only 3 hides.
Yeah.
3 hides. To get the whole set, you need what, 15? That's not bad.
The thing about these, right, is they're like, hey, you're leveling up. You want to just get these, and you're just gonna outlevel them so quickly that it's not worth the time or effort to go get it.
Yeah, this is like you're playing the game for the very first time, and somehow you stumble across this gear set. And maybe
like,
at the time it was released, it made sense, but like there's not too much. Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm leveling my first character, and I hit level 80, and I see this swirly thing on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, the thing is, there is a significant like lack of gear. Like, your Sparks gear kind of runs out at a certain level.
Yes.
And there aren't very many things. Like, a lot of people just ride it out. They get their AF and maybe some relic set going into Dynamis, and they're just like, whatever, I'll hit 99, it'll be fine. But there is a lack of gear in that level range. So
I don't disagree with you. I just feel as though like all the gear that's real was at level back in the day, and
mm,
it's way too complicated to go and bother getting. And I don't think that these pieces are so easy to get from that same perspective that they're
mm,
worth taking the time out to go and get. You're gonna level just wearing the garbage you're already wearing. You're gonna level up past the need of these items before you go and get them.
yeah.
So I would say everything on the level 90 and lower equipment list is kind of just a waste of time. It's cute that exists, but
Man, I as a complete aside, I remember getting the Aurora, the original Aurora set,
Mhm.
when it came out, and being like, I don't
I still
care if
have
it's
the beret.
pink.
I love the
I don't
pink
care if it's pink.
Yeah.
This it has so much good stats on it. Oh my god, this is gonna change my life.
The Aurora set was amazing for every job that's
Yeah.
on it at the what 80 level.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I think if you're the type of person that if you're leveling up and you like to take breaks between leveling up to do something that's both rewarding and kind of fun and a little bit more
Yeah.
challenging than just killing XP, this is fun stuff to do. So
Yeah,
that's like when I would
it
do
would
it.
not take long. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
but
You can go
it
out and kill the thing real quick, and you only need 3 pieces to upgrade it.
yeah,
Boom.
just be aware that like eventually you'll probably just throw all this stuff away.
Yes.
So as long as you're like okay with that, then I definitely I wouldn't say don't go out and do it. If you want to have fun and like fight some NMs and get some gear from it, this is a good place to play around.
Just know that disclaimer, the moment you hit 99, you can now buy items from the NPC that blow these out of the water, and these
Yeah,
are now hot garbage.
yeah. I remember when those first came out, when Abyssea got dropped, and they
Oh,
were just like absolutely insane. And it was just crazy that
and
you
they were
had
like
haste on
free too.
every
Like,
piece.
you walk in the
Oh
zone, you're like,
yeah.
"I can get these for free, and they're
Yeah.
better than everything I wear." Fuck.
Yeah.
Having gear with haste on it, it was
Mhm.
like you said it earlier, like when you get a certain amount of haste on a piece of gear, and you're like, oh my god, I can feel it. Uh,
Mhm.
the opposite just happens to me now because I'm so used to being haste capped. When I don't have haste, I'm like, who plays this game like this? This is unplayable.
I think these
But
sets are more nostalgic because, like, it was the first time the level cap was raised, and we had
Mhm.
years and years and years of 75
yeah.
gear, and all the 75 gear was, like, competing with each other on a similar strength level, and then
Mhm.
suddenly there's, like, level 80 gear, and everything has haste, and everything's nuts, and it's like,
Mhm.
what the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
Good
I do remember like when I got into Abyssea and I hit my first 3K weapon skill and I was like, you guys
Hell
better
yeah.
fucking watch out. I just
Hell
badass.
yeah. I got my pearl set.
yeah, exactly. Maybe even the first Empyrean armor set. Like, man, that was crazy. All right.
Alright, so this is the biggest section, and most of these items are worth talking about. Accessories.
Oh, accessories.
Mhm.
I thought when we were in the 98 section that we were like, oh, we're wrapping up already. That's crazy. But no, we've got the most important section to go through.
Yeah, yeah, now we
Almost all of
actually have
these
to
are worth
work.
talking about. There are a few exceptions that are hot garbage, but most of these do something useful.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's time to stop pretending we're paying attention, Heghmoh, and actually like lock
Yeah.
in for the topic
Wow!
Yeah.
list.
Cool
I'm
down.
locking in now.
Alright, I'm gonna go AFK.
All right. So first up, the cutie belt is not bad.
Hmm.
I feel like it's been replaced mostly these days. But
This is what, like
the
a magic accuracy or a nuke belt
yeah,
or
it's nice for int and it's not bad for magic accuracy.
hmm.
I think the int is the main thing because you're looking
Yeah.
at least a 19 when it's fully augmented, which is not insignificant, especially if you're like doing things with high int tiers and stuff like that.
Mm.
What is that specifically for, though? Like,
So it was used as a nuke option, but I think it's mostly, like I said, I think it's mostly been
so it's been outdated.
yeah.
I feel like, its 2 biggest competitions are the belt from Henwen and the
Mhm.
null belt.
Yeah. Yeah, as a nuke belt, it's gotten pushed out by like things like Orpheus Sash, Things like
Yeah.
the auction house +1 belt that you use for like helixes, stuff like that.
Skirmer.
What's that?
Are you talking about skirmer cord?
Yeah, yep, stuff like that.
Scrymir, yeah.
And there's some other stuff. But
Right.
if you're a newer black mage or like you're looking for some int for your belt, this isn't a bad piece.
So
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but I have pushback to that statement.
Mhm.
I feel like by nature of these Unity items, anything that is like if you're new, you could get this, but you have to upgrade it. I just don't think that's worth it because then it's like a 12 million price tag for a piece you're gonna replace.
Isn't Scrymir like 100 mil
Well, I'm not talking Scrymir, like
or
nuking.
Orpheus?
You could is nuking in 19 int better than like a lot of mab?
One has a lot of mab on it.
Um, you got the
I guess you
Ashen,
could the alternative would be the OBs, which would be better. So
the OBs, Ashen Stone.
the OBs are definitely going to be better, especially if you have access to like
From a,
storms and stuff.
I just don't really consider nuking in just 19 int raw, but maybe that is better for a lot of stuff. I don't.
Jiraj did say there were some spells where
Mhm.
this is more effective. So there's probably some niche cases where
Well,
it might
I'm guessing
be
the main one's Kaustra, right?
possibly.
But when I see this piece, I think mostly accuracy, and then
Yeah,
in my mind, that's been replaced by like null belt, which is not hard to get.
Mhm.
right.
Which has a ton more accuracy on it too.
It's about the same. It's just more raw accuracy because when
Mm.
you consider 19 int is about
Oh,
the
the
same.
ins accuracy. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's just not worth going out and spending 12 mil when you can kind of get the null belt right away
Yeah,
for free.
yeah,
For
definitely.
In my
free
opinion.
by farming VD Cloud of Darkness.
One
But
time, yeah.
Well, if you do VD Cloud of Darkness, which I don't think is hard, it spits out the belt and the neck like candy, and then
Mhm.
like the cape is pretty common, and then the bat mask is super duper duper rare. You're gonna get the belt really quickly.
Yeah. The pale rings I really like on Paladin.
For enmity, yeah.
For enmity,
Not
and I use there's other rings you could use for enmity too, but the thing that I really like about them is I use them for enmity and I also use them for Ammonon,
even defense.
for the magic defense bonus, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'll be honest, I never considered ranking them up for the magic defense and defense until I started doing
Ammonon.
Ammonon.
Hmm.
Yeah, and mostly it was because there's other rings that have essentially the same. I think they have like one less MDB.
Vexer ring is 4 magic defense bonus,
Hmm
55 D, 4 enmity. Those are very popular.
And they're easier to get because you can just buy them off the auction house. But it was worth it upgrading to me because I didn't want to give up an inventory slot for
Well, I would
it.
say the appeal ring is a Vexer +1/+1.
Yeah, yeah, it's slightly better. It just depends on if you want to invest that much money into it or not. But either way, like I think they're good for job abilities for enmity because you probably
Yep.
want to be using other stuff for like haste or fast cast depending
Probably get
on.
like 7 enmity on these. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So they're solid rings that I would definitely recommend. If you're a new
But why
paladin.
should you make this on Warrior?
Hmm?
But why should you make this on Warrior?
Why should you?
Enmity. Enmity
uh
set. When
I
you're tanking
wouldn't.
on warrior
Yeah.
and you need your enmity set, there you go.
hmm
I will say
Because
that like
it's hard.
hitting capped enmity on pal, like when you get into your first dynamis divergence and you're an aspiring paladin
hmm
and you immediately realize that you have nowhere near enough enmity in your
Yeah.
set. You know what I mean? It's such a crucial stat to figure out on paladin.
Oh yeah, definitely. Super important. And the Imana Buggard is not difficult. I think it's one of the first
Yeah, yeah.
after you've gotten like, your main 5 body armor pieces, this is what I would try to farm up. when I'm looking to do group content as a new paladin. Aura's Cape. What do you guys think?
You skipped the Arete de Luna?
Yeah,
Oh, did
they're
I? Yeah.
Arate de Luna.
Okay,
Yeah.
my mistake. What about this earring? What do you guys think?
It's a resist all piece. It's got
Yeah.
light resistance on it.
Mhm.
I idle in it in some sets.
Yeah, it seems like
Resist
a
bind, resist stun,
charm.
resist gravity, resist sleep, resist
Yeah,
charm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very niche. It's like another Schnetic ring that
Mhm.
also has resist sleep and charm. I think realistically, its best use is resist charm, like building a resist charm set.
Yeah. This would be
Mm.
like what I would put on for Wave 3 Dyna if we have a Beastmaster in the pool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because charm is a light move as well, so having light
Mhm.
resistance
Oh,
helps as well.
that's a good point.
Yep.
Does the resist charm plus 15, is that like, how do those stats work? Is it like a plus 15%? Yeah.
It's 15%, but all resistance stats are halved versus NMs,
Mhm.
Mm.
and inevitably, I don't think any regular mobs use charm, so it's actually 7.5% resist charm.
I see.
Yeah.
Maybe courses. There's probably some courses that charm. But
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's macabre.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be 15 versus that.
Yeah.
That was a good oversight.
It's not something I'd probably go out of my way to make. It's like if you are trying to do some like more niche min-maxing, then this item might be worth your time.
In my eyes, a lot of people use the Hardy earring for
Mhm.
resist all 5%.
Mhm.
But I think these specific bind gravity stun while running around and sleep are the 4 most annoying things to get hit with while like running by
so I
any
wear this with
uh,
my hippo stuff.
uh yeah.
Mhm.
Schnetic ring, hippo
Mhm.
socks, yes.
There you go.
You're just not gonna get bound
Mhm.
through it.
Mhm.
I do think
Will
also
this
the
make me stop raging at the demons and the undead in Limbus?
It
I
will
mean
not,
I
but
No, okay.
you might even rage more because now you'll be like, why isn't this procking? Why is
Yeah.
so I must say um the elemental stat,
Mhm.
the way a resistance tier works is having at least one of an elemental resistance stat
Mhm.
provides an additional multiplier in that like there's multiple checks that get done when a spell is cast on you. It compares its int to yours, it checks its resistance to that stat, it checks your mava, it checks if you're going to absorb it, if you're going to annul it, etc.
Mhm.
So having a in your idle set, in your defensive set, having at least one of every elemental resistance is quite helpful.
Yeah.
I typically use the Warder's Charm in my next slot,
Mhm.
which we'll get to later, but that item in particular does not have resist dark or resist light.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
pairing Arete de Luna with it gives you a light stat, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not a bad piece.
I have since stopped doing that, and now I
Mhm.
use a ring that gives light and dark, but to each their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I normally have Carrier Sash. I can't remember. Does Carrier Sash have
Carrier Sash is all elements,
has
but
all elements? Yeah.
I use Null Belt now for the
For
MDB
the
and Mava.
yeah, that makes sense. Hmm.
I
But
use
yeah.
the Wuji ring, which is 20 dark, 20 light, resist charm, resist sleep.
Oh, I can't say I've ever even heard of that. Cool.
I'm a nerd. All right, now
So Aura's Cape. Uh it has kind of been ousted. Um
I think it's very similar in the Acuity Belt.
yeah.
Why would you make it when you can get a freebie Null Belt? It's
Yeah.
very similar
Yeah.
to Null Cape, Null Shawl.
Pre null stuff, it was really, really strong. It was
Yes.
the highest magic accuracy by a lot.
It was slightly better than an Ambuscade Cape, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
I think it's still slightly better accuracy overall,
Mhm.
but it's like super niche and not worth the price tag.
Yeah. Yeah, I made this for V25 Ongo when I was really trying to max out my burn magic accuracy. which ended up not working because you just can't land burn without elemental seal. But about
It would be better for
um
that than Null Shoal
hmm?
because of the int. I
Yeah.
said it would be better than Null Shoal for that specific thing because of the int.
Yeah, and I ended up not using it for burn because I ended up using impact, which just happened to be better. But about a month, maybe 2 months after I finally got the clear, the Cloud of Darkness thing came out, and I was like, oh, I guess I can
Ah,
just throw
oh, there
away
you go.
this aura escape that I just spent like 15
Yeah.
mil making. But yeah, it was really good for a long time, and now I don't think I would make it personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Bathy Choker has some
I
niche
love
uses.
them.
Yeah, it's really cool. You don't see that amount of evasion and subtle blow on a lot of neck pieces. What are you
This
using
piece
it
comes up
for?
for a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
It comes up for the 20 to 30 evasion.
Hmm.
It comes up for the regen in idle sets. Like no other neck has 3 regen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It comes up for the subtle blow if you're trying to max out your subtle blow. 11 is like enormous,
yeah, it's a lot.
and it comes up for counter,
Hmm.
which is rare. I don't really recommend people make counter sets, but if you're a tryhard, uh, it does come up. Like I've made a counter set for Corsair when I was tanking Omega,
Hmm.
and this went right in.
So I
Nice.
actually I actually use a counter set on Paladin. Not as much anymore, but it was
Why?
really strong. It was a strong option when you're using Aegis because your block rate is so low natively because of it just has a low block rate. So you can get like a 30% counter set with on Paladin with Aegis, and it actually is pairs very, very strongly.
Okay, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Um
There is a the Elite Knights neck has 3 regen on it as well, by the
mhm.
way, but only for Sandorian citizens.
Which I will never be.
Mm, yeah. Dex said no to imperialism and
I
I
see.
just said no to bagpipe.
to bagpipes. That's fair.
I'm actually I this is a little I often avoid talking about this,
Mhm.
but I'm
Wow.
actually a Sandorian citizen.
Oh,
Chat,
Um
open up your. Oh no! You
oh,
can't just say that. Open up your
yeah,
profile right now.
mhm.
rank 10
I see it.
Sandorian.
Wow.
Oh
Um
no!
I did the Bastock mission chains so many times that
Mhm.
when I recreated my main and created a new character a few years ago, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do Sandoria. Because I
Mhm.
was also thinking like I'll probably do all the mission chains. So I'll start on Sandoria and then do
Mm.
Winders and then do Bastock.
How's that
And
worked out
Yet
for
to
you?
do that. Have not started on the part 2 and 3 yet.
well,
But
I'll say you're on a journey of completing things now, so
that's
you're
true.
gonna have
Now I have a
Mhm.
reason.
Yeah, you got to get that mastery rank so you can take
No.
advantage of that earring.
to buy Doria losers. L. I'm holding an L over my forehead.
Mhm. Hell yeah. What
Uh,
about the upgraded eye level sniper ring stacks?
a Kakothic ring. You couldn't say it.
Right. That's it. You nailed it.
As a ranger,
Mhm.
this is probably the best in slot accuracy swap for
Mhm.
max accuracy, which is almost never needed. Almost never.
Yeah.
Um, Back in the day, I used this and a behemoth ring +1, I believe.
Mhm.
This on face doesn't beat that other ring, but it has the agility from the augment that makes it pull ahead.
Mm.
Um, Nowadays, I mean, I have an Ephramad's ring, which is really fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It
Evermans is really
does
good.
Yeah.
20 of ranged accuracy and 10 agility. Super
Mhm.
cool. You should have one. Um, and then typically, like, that's good enough in an accuracy swap scenario. So
Yeah.
I don't use the Kakothic ring very often, sub never actually.
Mhm.
But in a theoretical world, it's one of the best accuracy swaps for a ranger and corsair.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's not a bad ring to
Outside of
have, but
that,
yeah.
you would never use this for the regular accuracy, just ranged accuracy.
Mhm. Cool.
This is a ranger or corsair try hard uh inventory -1 piece that you may never use.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And to be honest with you, outside of like the Bahamut Master Trial, I can't think of a single time where Ranger needs this kind of accuracy.
You
Or
might be
that
right.
like I really can't, because I mean the probably the most use case for Ranger is going to be our body, and Odyssey bosses by design just don't need that much accuracy. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I can't think of too many other places where you're going to be range attacking. Maybe for like a Dino Wave 3 boss, you could do some
Yeah.
cool stuff. But again, you probably don't need this level of ranged accuracy
It's
to
also
hit
like
that.
the same thing we've been saying, where maybe a new ranger would want this, but then
Hmm.
why? You know what? How about I'll take back what I'm about to say. A new ranger could use this,
Hmm.
but you don't need to augment it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. In fact, I would probably say don't augment it, because you're probably just
Correct.
have other options for weapon skilling.
Like
But
7.5 more accuracy is not worth it for 10 mil.
mhm.
Just get it to use it while you're leveling, and then replace it when you want to.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
So, how do you feel about the Kanto necklace, Heghmoh? I know you're a
Oh
big
man.
I think it would look cute, because I
Um.
think Heghmoh would look good with a little flower necklace.
ooh, like a
Oh,
little
a little
Hana.
flower necklace.
Yeah, a
Wouldn't it
little
be cool
flower
if you could
necklace.
see
Welcome to Hawaii, buddy.
your accessories on you, and like, yeah, like a nice little floral. It would
Hmm.
bring a new level to lock style. But
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know. Is this good? I was actually looking at this item, and I was hoping that this would like be the revelation that I need, where I would be like, I don't know, is this good? And then you guys would be like, oh my gosh, you're not using Kanto necklace on your bard?
Okay, so
Holy
walk me
crap.
through your thought process when you look at this, please. I need to know.
Singing skill +6. I know that like your skill does have some effect on
Hmm.
some things, but I can't imagine 6 is enough to really have too much of an impact.
Hmm.
The charisma, you got uni ranking, that's potentially 22 charisma. I still don't know what charisma does for songs,
Kind of,
but I
it's
know
kind
that
of just straight 1-to-1 magic accuracy.
nice. So magic actually, and then it has magic actually. So like maybe Bard sleeps, like it's a for sleeping on Bard. I don't know.
So, you're right to question it in that it like doesn't look too like exciting, but maybe
Yeah.
because Bard's most important item other than Rima's is Moonbow Whistle.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right. It's a neck. That's right.
Moonbow Whistle also just has 23 charisma, 23 magic accuracy, which beats it
Yeah.
on face, and then also has all songs +3. So
Hmm.
this item never had a chance, never stood a chance.
Yeah. It's not something I would pick up.
But dominance earring.
Dominance earring, I feel like, is in a very similar place as the Kikothic ring, except obviously it's much more universal and melee accuracy, not ranged accuracy.
I
Um,
do think some all jobs gear sets swap this in for the
mhm.
decks.
for for what?
Just
For
for
like,
some weapon skills.
okay, for dex weapon skills. Okay, so like ninja could be an example of that.
I would just have
Um,
10 decks. Yeah.
Maybe thief and dancer.
well, it's like 10
Um,
decks and more accuracy than the
Hmm.
odor earring.
yeah, yeah.
I like to that point, I don't think that's worth it.
No, I wouldn't either. I feel like there's enough hearing options out there between like the TP bonus, or you know what I could see this being used as is like similar to the Luger earring, where you swap it in when you're at TP cap. Like if you have 3k TP, you'd use this over the
Mm.
Moonshade. That's where I could see something like that coming into play.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, overall this isn't something I would rush to get for sure. It's just something
Yeah,
you're gonna pick up while you're farming the lore kit torque, which is the real
correct.
objective for that NM.
You're gonna get this item by accident. You're gonna be like, okay, I guess I'll use it for a little bit, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna throw it away.
Yeah.
Back in the day when Odyssey came out,
Hmm.
before segments existed, I was opening chests on Thief, and I had a full resist stun set so that when the chest was a mimic, I wouldn't get stunned and I could sick my paladin trusts on it and run away and de-aggro.
Wow. That's
This was kind of valuable for that.
mhm. I can see that.
Super niche.
Yeah.
Um,
The
I
fee full
would say
art cape. Hmm?
I was gonna say from an end game perspective,
Mhm.
like players that have everything, one might argue, oh well, if you have everything, you can just make this earring because it's a drop in the ocean, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the new earring from Odyssey or from Limbus exists, and
Yeah.
this just looks like crap compared to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't hold on to this for a long term, but if you like need accuracy or something, it's not terrible.
hmm
Yeah. I love the fee full art cape. It's one of
It's
my favorite capes.
it's a why waste inventory on
Yes.
7 different fast cast capes from
Yes.
Ambush?
Mm.
You can take the
Yeah.
That is exactly why I get it. And I have used the Surd in a few random sets. I
okay,
think
that's fair.
I think I have the Surd in like my Aquavale set or something weird like that. But I have used it for like super niche.
I
I might even used it might even have used it for White Mage healing V25s when you're tanking the ads to cap my Surd. But
Fantastic.
that's not the main reason. What's up?
No, I'm just saying, fantastic.
Yeah. But mostly it's exactly like you said, fast cast plus 10, and it works for all of those jobs, so you don't have to have yeah, all those ambuscade capes, because that's the real selling point for me.
I have to assume that the enhancing skill is useful, maybe? Or is there a stronger enhancing skill option? You know what? I know
Um,
the answer to that. The red mage, a dueling cape can go to 10.
Yeah.
So
Red
there's no point.
Mage dueling cape is also has like the duration and stuff on it, right?
mhm.
Yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
used for that. Never mind.
And it's actually that a dueling cape is crazy because it's compared to the ambuscade cape, it instead of being an additive addition, it's multiplicative, so
Yeah,
it's super busted.
separate.
Mhm.
Maybe for jobs that sub red mage, like to throw that on, but that's very niche.
Yeah,
But the fast cast alone is just worth it.
yeah, I love that, especially if you play multiple mage jobs. It's a really great cape to have.
When I was new, this was one of the first Unity items I made.
Yeah, yeah, I think this was one of the first ones that I made when I started playing Scholar and White Mage, and
By one
then
of the first, I mean like in the top 10. It
mhm.
wasn't like the first 5.
Yeah.
Which next item I think was in the top 3 that I made first.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why'd you make
the
the
jelly ring.
gelatinous ring?
Jelly ring is awesome.
Mhm.
Uh,
I was always kind of like skeptical of it, just because
really?
I've never been a big fan of the -7 PDT but +1 MDT. It's not that it's bad, and not saying that at all. It is a good piece. It just kind of weirds me out, like especially when D rings are kind of accessible. But but I do
Most people
use
pair
it.
it with D-ring.
Hmm?
Well, back in the day, most people paired it with D-ring.
Yeah, yeah, and it is useful for that.
I would say this is like a really good starter DT ring
Hmm.
because while I have been saying all episode that DT is quite easy to hit at cap now, I don't mean for a new player. I mean for like someone who's been around the block. Um,
Yeah,
this
you
is
still
a
have to
good way to
farm
get your
the DT
set up.
bases.
Yeah, yeah. Um, to address your concerns with the item, for someone who might be in the same boat and might be hesitant because they see that,
Mhm.
shell counts as magic defense taken
Yeah.
Mhm.
minus shell 5 is like 30% or 32 or whatever it is.
I want to say it's like 30, 32 or 33. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So if you have shell 5, it kind of negates any detriment that this item would give. Like hitting magic defense cap should
Mhm.
be a lot easier than hitting physical damage cap,
Yeah. It's
which
the
is
same
also why
reason why I usually recommend people make physical defense reduction ambuscade capes.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's 29% for shelf life.
Yeah.
But yeah, super strong.
Nice.
I still use this for an HP cure cheat swap for Paladin.
There you go.
So it is good, and I don't think it is as good as it was now that Murky Ring and D Ring both exist.
Yeah.
But it is still a significant HP boost. And I feel like the Vit has a little bit of use, but that would be like super niche.
Vit gives you more HP.
Yeah. I feel like there's some instances where at one point the Vit was used for like weapon skill modifiers, but I don't think I would use that today.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's an item that I used to use all the time, and I've
mhm.
since kind of upgraded away from it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make it a bad item. It's still a great transition item. It's still a
Mhm.
great new player item.
Yeah, absolutely. And even
And
unaugmented, like you don't
I was just
need
gonna
the
say,
100 HP, unless you're like specifically using that for a set like I mentioned.
yeah, just make it and have it.
Definitely,
Ghastly Tathlum.
that one's good.
It's a little bit more
Oh yeah,
niche.
Ghastly's good.
Magic damage as opposed to magic attack bonus is
Mhm.
better for weaker nukes.
Yes,
And Helixes.
but it also has the highest int for ammos.
Yep, it
So
beats the Pemfredo.
yeah, so I would mostly use this over Pemfredo on fights like Ongo, where you need the int, or if you're like doing helixes on Scholar.
Yep.
Use it for subduction on Blue Mage because it's more magic defense, magic
Mhm.
damage. There's some niche nukes that you would use this on for sure.
Yeah,
But your points were the main selling point.
yeah, it's a really good piece that I would pick up if you're Scholar, Black Mage, or
This is more of a dedicated to the job kind of upgrade. This
Mhm.
is something you don't get right away. It's something you get later down the road. Like you can ride Pemfredo and be fine, but when you
Mhm.
want to get like niche good at something specific, then you pick this up for that.
So here's a question: as a newer player, if you don't have Pemfredo, because doesn't Pemfredo come from one of the helms in
It's a
Rise and
tier 3
Jima?
Mm,
It's
easy
a
to
tier
get.
yeah,
three.
it's
Okay.
Resident Evil, yeah.
So tier 3, would you say an unaugmented Ghastly Tathlum might be worth it for a new player if they don't have an easy way to get the
Sure.
Pemfredo Tathlum?
I would say unaugmented
Mhm.
Ghastly, then Pemfredo, then augmented Ghastly Tathlum for like the specific purpose.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Cool. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't even looked at Grounded Mantle, and I don't know what it does. Looks like accuracy
We
to
can
me.
right now. Of all of these items, I
Mhm.
think this is the hottest garbage.
That's garbage. Okay, but have you considered the stun
No,
resist factor?
I haven't.
That's all I'm
At
Ooh,
all.
saying.
yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
like if you're throwing
Holy
out
shit.
charm resist sets and stun
Mhm.
resist sets, this has thunder resist plus 20.
Yeah, we use this all the jobs that can use it, we
Mhm.
wear it on Cartel.
Really?
No, don't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, I hope not.
I was about to storm out the room.
You sold it so well that I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. But no, I wouldn't pick this up. Would you guys?
No. No, it's like one of those where it's like they I don't think they even knew what this item was for when they created it. They were just like, we have Lumber Jill still needs an item. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
They just pulled some stats out of the list.
Yeah, I feel like it was supposed to be accuracy, but like for what, 5 or 6 more accuracy than a ambuscade
The-
cape, you'd have to
These items
Yeah.
pay like
are ambuscade, right?
I think no, ambuscade's been around longer than Unity, I think.
Well, I hope so,
Maybe
because
like
like
the base Unity rewards before they added augments to them, because augments were added
yeah.
later, right?
So say you
Um,
had this before the ambuscade stuff came out. You're like haste and 21 accuracy. That's sick.
yeah.
And then the ambuscade stuff comes out. You're like, this is trash. Damn it.
Yeah.
And then they add the augments, and you're like,
Mhm.
why would I care?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't make this one.
No, never.
Yeah, I think all like most is a general statement. Most capes suffer from that. You know, like
Mhm.
where like anytime
Yeah.
they've created a cape, it's like, yeah, but ambuscade capes exist.
Right.
Yeah,
They
so
have
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
niche.
Even the
Like
new
usually
ones. Like
yeah.
it sucks. Even the
all capes
fucking
will
Limbus ones.
forever be compared to ambuscade capes because ambuscade capes are likely the strongest like single slot upgrade that they've ever released.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed when the stats for the Limbus capes came out. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't expect the stuff to be
Well,
groundbreaking, but I was hoping it would at least like have a
They're the
couple
first,
uses.
they're the first items in the back slot to be close to ambuscade capes, or
with
you know,
maybe Knoll Shawl, the Knoll Cape was one that people still argue
Yeah.
has like a niche use,
yeah.
but
And it does, and it's good, but like it's not. I can't believe the amount of work that goes into a Limbus cape compared to an ambuscade cape
yeah.
for the
Yeah, it's not
stats is
Oh yeah,
that's not balanced.
it's
So
crazy.
I like to think that one dev team member designed the items, and they were like, yeah, great. And then one dev team member determined how to get it,
Mhm.
and they're like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, I
I
think that
honestly
might be right.
like to imagine that like somebody wrote the idea down on like for paper, and they're like, okay, it's an 11% weapon skill damage cape,
Mhm.
and they're like, okay, cool, that makes sense, like nice. It got implemented in the game, program coded, and then as soon as they published it live,
Mhm.
the players started going, wait, what the fuck is the use for this when we have ambuscade capes? And they go, oh shit, ambuscade capes, we forgot
We
about
forgot
those.
about those.
And it
Oh
was
man,
too late for them to
no
backpedal.
one's gonna want to do this content.
Are you sure they weren't just like, well, yeah, there's ambuscade capes, but do you know Limbus capes make a year to make?
Yeah.
Because I mean, come on, guys. Oh man, that's wild. Handler's earring +1.
Um, as far as base value, I think it's kind of poopy. I mean, people will use it for pet DT, but I
Mhm.
think it's
Mhm.
not good enough on its own.
I
But
think that's the only
as-
use I can think of. Pet DT,
when you add
Puppet
the pet
Master used to use it.
accuracy, though,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oozing stuff, you want pet magic accuracy. That makes this very appealing.
Yeah, it's not bad for the pet magic accuracy and the DT. Um, I would like to once again use this opportunity to complain that pet stats only ever get different flavors of
Accuracy and accuracy.
accuracy. Yeah,
Yep.
and it pisses
Yeah.
me off. I just want my pet to do a shit ton of damage. I just want Ooze to also hit for 99k, and then I'll be happy.
So for my ooze set, when I do oozing Odyssey mobs for RP,
Mhm.
um I used to use this and the beast earring, because the beast earring gives pet level, which is a lot more magic accuracy than 15.
Yeah,
Um but then the alabaster earring came out, which also has pet accuracy 15. So instead of being a try hard pet job guy and carrying this just for the PDT, I just threw it on a mule because I don't want to waste the inventory.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much what I would do. But at the same time, like if you are like if you really want the pet magic accuracy, if you're building a Beastmaster specifically to ooze like Bumba for RP
Yeah.
or something like that, and you maybe don't want to grind 15 levels on your alabaster earring,
Then yeah, maybe consider
this
10 mil price tag on this.
yeah, for sure.
You do
Kenzark
need
belt
a
though.
certain threshold of magic accuracy when oozing. Like,
Mhm.
it's noticeable. I tried doing Kalunga without it and with it, and it's night and day.
Mhm. Yeah,
I think Cat Dark Belt is still great.
it is. It's awesome. So here's a question, Dex.
Mhm.
For Fast Blade 2, because it's an FTP
Later.
transferring weapon skill, do you think this would be better because of the dex modifier
And stealthy.
and the double attack than the Fosha belt?
Oh.
Yeah, because
You're gonna say stealthy.
no, Fosha.
Why? Just because this is a dex mod and double attack?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
Mhm.
I would have to plug this into calculators and do actual testing.
Dex, you're my calculator. Come on, man.
Without knowing on
Mhm.
face, and also bearing in mind that I don't give a shit about Fast Blade 2. Um, I think it would probably beat it. Sure.
Good,
Fuck
good.
the Focus Belt.
I just want you to know that I put this in my Fast Blade 2 set and I was just looking for
Oh, well, that's
validation.
one. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
Mhm.
But anyway, like overall, this is a really good like TP belt for a
Uh,
lot of jobs.
Yeah.
what I tend to use this on is on jobs that I'll sub ninja and wear the Reiki Yotai and Iabani earring combo.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people just do the 10 dual wield on their cape. I'm not one of those guys.
Hmm.
I like having store TP on my cape.
Hmm.
Um, if I'm in Sortie and subbing Dark Knight, or if I'm in Odyssey and not having a sub job, I toggle to a different TP set in which I use this for most jobs.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a really solid option for a lot of jobs. The double attack, the store TP,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Accuracy.
just a good belt. And I do use it for a couple weapon skills like fast blade too,
Yeah.
because it's super strong.
In particular, this is a nice piece for Dex weapon skills.
Mhm. Cool.
Lork hot shit.
Lorca Torque is, I don't know, it's kind of a waste of time.
It used to be
Um
really good.
it's no, I'm just kidding, it's really good. I use it all the time. And the reason I think
A
it's
lot
still
better.
relevant is the surd and the defense.
Yes, I agree.
It's a
It used
super
to be like
Mhm.
down, like one of the best necks that you could get from this thing, from Unity.
Yeah. And
Like
even
every new,
still, I think every person should pick up a Lorca Torque because it's one of the easiest DT pieces you can pick up.
yeah, like I was kind of getting at, like
Mhm.
DT used to be harder to cap, and then this
Yeah.
piece a godsend. Now that it's easier to cap, most people are taking this out for like
Mhm.
more resistance or niche pieces, like the Bathy Choker for regen and evasion, or the yet to be talked about Warder's Charm and
Mhm.
other things. But I still think it's very good, like you're saying. It's still worth getting. The Surd is very nice to fill in
Yeah.
some holes, like if you're trying to reach 102 or whatever it is, like that comes up.
Yep.
I don't know about Paladin stuff. Maybe the 60 defense is good, but overall, I think it's a great piece.
I think defense is very often overlooked, especially by newer paladins, for things like segment farms and stuff. And you'll be getting clapped in segment farms and wondering
Mhm.
why you're taking so much damage. And a lot of the time it's because your defense values are low and the Odyssey mobs can actually cap PDIF against you, which is not good.
Mm, yeah.
So you want to raise your defense to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Is it possible that that's not why, and it's because your cheeks are so dummy thick that when you
Mm,
run up the stairs, they clap together, and that's why you're getting clapped?
Yeah. That's what
sometimes,
happens to me.
yeah, that's what happens to you. Heghmoh, we're gonna need some video proof of this to verify that's
Okay.
actually what's
Sure.
happening. But we'll save that for the Patreon wall.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in the Heghmoh clappers, then please sign up for.
That's a reel that I could make. That'd be great. Like
Yeah.
imagine like me in Odyssey and I'm like, all right, good, clear. Let's run up these stairs. And then it like zooms in on my character's butt and it's just like clapping. And then I'm like, oh no, not again. And then it shows me dead on the ground.
Jeez.
That's hysterical.
Oh God.
Luger earring.
Are we done yet? I kind of want to be done after
No,
that, to be
we're getting close.
Okay.
Luger earring. I had a friend that every time it hit dusk, he would go, "Oh hell yeah, it's Luger time."
That's actually fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Like that meme from the Morbius movie. It's Morbin
yeah.
time.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Hear me
I
out.
don't
Hear
think
me
this
out.
earring has aged well.
You think it has
Um,
aged well?
I don't think this earring has
Oh,
you
aged
don't
okay.
well.
think so? But
Mhm,
wait a second. Imagine you have a strength, dex, vit, or int scaling weapon skill.
mhm.
You're wearing this and the new mastery rank plus 30 all stats.
Mhm.
You have
Or
plus 46 all stats.
if I'm a psychopath who is so dedicated to the game that my mastery rank is high enough,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
I'm gonna be a psychopath who's done enough Limbus to have an alabaster earring.
Okay, true. What does Alabaster have on it stat wise? Plus 10
10
all
all.
stats?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
10 all. At nighttime, sure, 16.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess my argument against that would be like get a max roll +2 job earring, silly goose.
That's true. Yeah.
Um, realistically, yeah, you're not wrong. Like at Dusk to Dawn, this is a cool piece for like Dark Knight weapon skill,
Hmm.
and probably Warrior Savage Blade, and probably Samurai and Ninja. It's just like most people don't have the brain power or the patience to swap to a specific set at Dusk to Dawn.
Right.
And I'm not one of those people as well.
Yeah. The most common use I've seen of this ring is for Luas that have a rule to take off Moonshade and swap this in if you are
In
above
the evening, yeah.
2750 TP.
Oh, just for the straight 8?
Yeah, yeah. If you're capped at TP is the only time that it swaps in, but that's like a
So for me,
super
I have exactly that,
Mhm.
but I use Ishvara instead.
Oh,
Ah.
yeah, I that probably would be better, but I don't know.
Ishvara's 8 strength versus 2 weapon skill damage is probably very close.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, my
it
opinion, I'd rather just have all jobs 2 weapon skill damage rather than have 2 earrings and some of these jobs use another earring, you know? I'd
yeah.
rather save the inventory.
Yeah, I think the difference between the two would be so small that you'd have to do some very like
It's not worth
complicated
it.
math formulas to like take into account of how much weapon skill damage you have on other pieces and blah 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 blah.
I did 70,212 instead of 71,320. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like, it's not worth it.
yeah.
Actually,
But yeah, it was cool for a period of time. Um, it's I don't
yeah,
use it.
that's why I said it didn't age well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a good description. Did you guys ever use a Mephitos ring +1? I have not.
Big Circuit Boy. I don't, but I've seen many sets from job guides and Luas that use this for conserve MP. I
Mm.
don't really see that being very useful, but it is a lot of conserve MP for one slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I at one point had this ring and I have no idea why I had it.
It's probably because you were farming the Turnian dagger, and
Oh, that's probably what yep, that's exactly what it was. Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah,
Which we have said before is actually a great item.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. So
So
yeah.
you're gonna get this
Oh, yeah.
maxed, and then
Or maybe it
look
was my Galka
at
bias. I was
you
like, I have
know,
so much HP and I need MP. What am I gonna
you know
do?
what I remember
Mephitos.
this ring being used for now is death. Um,
Mm.
Oh,
that's a use
okay.
case, for this one. But that
That's
being
pretty cute.
said, death is not super common. Like I think really the
I
only
think it happens
modern
very
Well,
often.
it is over here at twitch.tv/Heghmoh.
I think the really only common like or not common, but the only modern use for it is like Ammonon magic strat,
Mm.
Yeah.
which I think probably a
Uh,
very small amount of the
Death the
population is doing.
spell. Death the spell has fallen off. You're correct. It's only really used there.
Yeah.
Um, if you're a mage and you need to make a conserve MP set, then this is your ring. I
Mhm.
don't think most mages are doing that or bothering. So I think this item's extremely niche, and you don't need to get it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think conserve MP for a lot of the time was like mostly a white mage thing. In my opinion, like a healer type thing that was used often. Maybe sometimes on red mage, but I feel like it's mostly fallen off just because of the amount of refresh and like other MP returning options that we have.
I'd be remiss to say that I don't that I use it.
Mhm.
Remiss not to say that I use it
Yeah.
because I use it for Mighty Guard,
Mhm.
but
Mm.
Mighty Guard has a hefty price tag and is not affected by anything in terms of potency, so why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Nice.
But,
So
that's not worth it to upgrade if you're a regular player.
yeah. What do we got
Crazy
next? Metamorph.
ring, very good ring.
Yeah, it's still really good.
It
Out of all the rings, I think this might have aged the best. I don't know.
is one of
It's
the best of the accessories still.
magic accuracy super strong and a lot of int mind
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
really, I
12,
don't really care
12,
about the charisma.
13-ish accuracy and 16 int.
hmm
Incredible on a rank slot. Very good.
Yeah, I still use this regularly over skinny rings for the pure magic
Me too.
accuracy sometimes.
Exactly that.
Oh, nice.
If I'm really lazy, like if I'm trying to gear a character that doesn't have like a freak ring or something, sometimes I'll throw this in for the int on like nukes or something. It's
But you're
not it's yeah, it's not option or it's not ideal, but it is like not a terrible option. But yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
I recommend it for accuracy purposes, and
Mhm.
like you said, it would be a very base level nuke item, but there's better nuke items.
Yeah, for sure. Nourishing earring, I think, is an underrated earring, personally.
Really?
Yeah. But I think
Do
it's hmm?
do tell.
So I think it's underrated for like higher end players because of the surd that comes with it. And again, this is just like when I was talking about the Fifolet cape. White mage surd is becoming more and more important.
Yeah.
For things like
Es-
Zephyr and
yes.
Kai.
Yeah, and just like as an aside, if people like don't know what I'm talking about, um, a lot of the times a white mage will be expected to tank multiple monsters, especially for like V25 Odyssey mobs. You'll be tanking 2 ads, and they hit very quick, and if you get interrupted, your party dies. Uh, I think it's also just a good baseline set to have out in the wild because white mage is a very sturdy job and you have the ability to survive a lot better than some of your other party members. So if you can heal others while not getting interrupted and not exploding, you're
Hmm.
just doing your party a favor.
Speaking of getting sturdy, you can subscribe to Mythposter Syndrome and get the sturdy Gubu emote.
Oh, we've got the
Mm.
sturdiest emotes over here for
Wow.
sure. Oh, Noah earring.
uh, Still very good, but max players will have moved past this earring at this point. This is the same kind of deal as most new players struggle to get DT cap, and then down the line they hit it so easily they don't need it anymore.
Yeah, so if you don't need the DT from this, which I think a good
It's the
chunk of
main
people
purpose of it.
won't, I don't
Yeah,
think it's
Yeah.
worth having at all anymore.
I agree.
So it was funny because when Alabaster Earring came out, my sortie parties, Min Maxer McDougal did the math and found out that there's more defense on a Twisto earring because of the Vit than there is
Mm.
than on an Odnoa earring.
You
So
didn't
if
already do that? They've been out for years.
hey, look, it's not something we've looked into.
Hmm.
But if you don't need the DT, the Twisto is just strictly better. This is again would be something that I would put in for like an HP cure cheat set if you
Yeah,
need the HP.
this item has finally started to see itself being aged out. It's getting into retirement.
Yeah. I still have it in
That's a
all of
pretty
my
common
Luas because I'm too
recommendation.
lazy to swap it out.
Oh, just
But
switch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That'll happen.
What did you say, Heghmoh? I missed what you said.
Oh, what was that? Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like that people used to use it a lot,
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
because of the DT, because the even like the HP, all that other stuff. But
I will
yeah,
say,
there's just so many options.
if you're a new player and you have
Mhm.
a lot of money for some reason and you need to hit DT cap, like
Mm.
you could pair this with an alabaster earring because
Yeah, it's just
alabaster
really
earring
hard
is
because
a lot
like
easier to get.
DT3, and you're like talking about how many stacks of hides is it worth? Like,
So
and what
I was
else do you spend
gonna
your
say
money on?
what I was gonna say is this is one of the few items in the game that hits the max value that you want, the DT, before
Mm.
rank 15.
Mhm.
And for a very long time, I ran around with an odd Nawa earring at like rank 12 or something.
Yeah, same. I'm pretty sure
Nice.
mine's still like 12 or 13. And I probably will, at this point in the game will never R15
We'll
it.
never do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't need 6 or 4 more defense. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So that would save you a little bit of money
Mhm.
if you decided to do that. I don't think you need to do that. I would advise against it, but if you choose to do that, then be on your merry way. Save a buck or two.
Yeah, it's not a terrible earring to pick up again and just like not augment it. If you're like a newer tank or something like that,
Yeah,
that's
or
always an
just the
option.
new player in general idling, and this is fine.
Yep, absolutely. Cool.
The next item I think is the best accessory.
The best.
Oh, selfie belt's amazing. Yeah.
I don't know. I have hard arguments against it.
Oh, okay.
Get hard.
I don't. I just wanted to see what what you guys would say.
I do
So
think this is the best accessory.
yeah,
Period.
I think you might be right. I
It
don't.
might be the best Unity item.
The problem is I don't want to agree with you on that.
That's rude.
Yeah.
You hate me that much. Understood.
So tell me why you think it's the best, and I will try to
Sure, I will.
formulate.
I'll sing the praises of the selfie belt. The selfie belt provides 9 haste, which is 1 less than the best option, unless you're a monk. That alone is amazing. Like most TP sets will use this because of the 9 haste alone.
Yeah.
It sports 5 double attack and 2 triple attack. That's big shit, baby. Big TP. Woo! And then on top of that, if that wasn't good enough, it has like 12-ish attack and 15 strength, baby. Do you like Savage Blade? Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Nagling?
All right, this level of energy, actually, you're kind of bringing me around on it. So maybe, maybe I'll rethink my negative thoughts
Yeah,
about
just
selfie.
update your Lua to include this in your Savage Blade set, even though it's already there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I mean, your sets.
yeah, and I think that's worth mentioning too, is because like there's still a misconception, I believe, out in the community to a certain degree, that Fosha belts gives you a weapon skill damage when that's not necessarily how it works.
Right.
Correct.
And this belt is actually better for a lot of weapon skills, including Savage Blade, which is obviously a very popular option.
Yeah. I'd say more weapon skills are better served by raising your stats than using Fosha belt.
Yeah.
Than there are that use Fosha belt. Like
Mhm.
Fosha belts
I think
main
that's like
stuff with FTP
one.
transfer.
I feel like that's like one knock-on effect of the new Master Earring is that more people are talking about like base stats effect on weapon skills. At
Right.
least I am, and I'm listening to people talking about it, like Dex. So between the two of us, that's half the people I talk to. So, so yeah, it's
Start
like
Heghmoh not wanting to go outside.
yeah. I think that like this, it's a great reminder that like yeah, Fosha belt has a weapon skill effect that people lean into, but it's not always the best option for weapon skills.
I think a big problem is the way that it's worded is very confusing to
Yeah.
people who don't know how it functions.
I'd say another large aspect of the selfie belt being so strong for weapon skills is the fact that PDL exists now in the environment in the
True.
sandbox. You want to be able to hit attack cap to utilize that stat on, which is inadvertently on a lot of items that you would be using anyway. So you might as well benefit from it, especially if you have a prime weapon, right?
Yeah.
So strength and attack just gets you there, even if like the Fosha belt would provide a benefit. Having strength and attack has the dual purpose of providing a benefit and making your other items better.
Yeah. I like it because it lets me say things like F strength, and that makes me feel smart.
I just like saying a stat combined with a letter. I'm like, yeah, so
Yeah.
your D and your F strength and
F
your
strength?
Q agi. But no, most people don't know about Q agi. But
Yeah.
Nobody knows about my brother, my estranged brother,
Yeah.
Agi Pros.
Yes. I also like making up words and saying
Like
things.
what? Like Babaliboo?
All right. Moving on to
Omelet.
well, to wrap up selfie belt. This is one of the first items that you should get.
Yeah,
yeah,
selfie
selfie
belt,
belt scrub.
arguably the first item you should get, if not in the first 3 or 5.
Yeah.
So many friends like if there's a Unity campaign going on, and I have
Mhm.
like a friend that's joining the game or something like that, or even if there's not a Unity campaign, one of the first things that I do when they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm fresh 99. What can I do to get stronger?" I'm
Mhm.
like, "Let's go get selfie belt."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were right to do that. You're a good man.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the Shinjitsu
It's an
no
Obi.
Obi. Is there a
I
single
think
use that
this
you
is
could think of this?
I think it's the same exact purpose as the ring we talked about. It's a death
Oh,
belt,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
conserve
conserve
MP
MP.
belt, and that's about it. I think Fastcast 5 is easy to find on other items on the belt. I could be
Mhm.
wrong, but
Mm. Are
I
you
don't
guys
think
not you guys don't have a set built for MP recovered while healing?
not anymore.
Uh,
I used to.
Yeah. I I wouldn't advise somebody to make it for fastcast. Uh, well,
Correct.
you're spending like 12 mil or whatever it is on 5% fastcast, and there's
I think there's other pieces that are
yeah,
the same or higher and just easier to get.
yeah. Um, this is typically not something that I'd pick up.
Yeah, it's one of the weakest accessories. It's
Mhm.
very niche.
Yeah. If selfie belt is the worst, this might be its opposite here.
mm. The
Selfie belt
selfie
is the
belt's the
best.
best.
Or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, same thing. I
We
have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
disagree with
talked about
Dex.
grounded mantle.
If
Yeah.
There's
selfie
niche use for this shit. There's no use for grounded mantle.
Yeah, it's fair. Um,
if selfie belts is the worst at
yeah,
being not useful,
yeah.
then
I'm see now that I misspoke, I'm going to like manufacture a reason that Shinjutsu
Spoke
is
yeah.
correct.
actually the best. Have you guys heard about this summoner thing that you can do with the 85? I don't know. All right, anyway.
We're moving.
Seething bomblet. Seething
This
bomb.
used to be very popular for jobs that can wear it, and I
Mhm.
don't think it's worth it anymore.
Yeah. For the
Um,
accuracy and attack, there's just too many good ammo. Like it's got accuracy, attack, strength. I feel like it used to be like
a weapon
a
skill.
weapon skill swap or something, but like
Mhm.
nowadays there's just so many options.
Yeah.
I think most people
Your
use
knob carries your
code hard
yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah, Coist is extremely good. Probably better on all the stats except for maybe the accuracy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Hoist is just super strong.
I know some
Um,
people back in the day used to use this for haste when haste was harder to get on all your armor, especially jobs that use the Odin head and
yeah,
body.
yeah, that would make sense.
Dark Knight,
The
I think, uses for that, or maybe Warrior.
mhm. Um, Hear me out though. Does Ninja
Yeah.
have a better magic attack option for ninjutsu?
It's probably good for that.
I have no idea.
It's probably good for that.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
yeah.
It's also probably good for lunge on Rune Fencer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that make it good? No.
Right. Yeah, this is again probably not something. This is something that I would have in my inventory from farming the Loxotic mace, and like I
Yeah.
might decide to keep if I don't have like a better option as a newer person.
I feel like the only like the major problem with some of these things is like, oh, if you're a newer player,
Mhm.
you're farming a Luxotic mace and you don't have another better option for your ammo slot, but like the game doesn't explain to you how stats work really. So like no new player would be like, oh my god, the strength plus 10 would beat out my like nobody knows that. If you had
Mhm.
no ammo to equip, you might use this as a new player. But
Yeah.
I do think a new Dark Knight or Warrior just getting the Loxotic Mace could throw this on and be totally fine for a little while.
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But it would quickly get replaced.
Mhm.
It's not worth upgrading. And then the upgraded version is what you'd want it for weapon skilling, but now other pieces do better.
Mhm. Cool. Unmoving collar.
Unmoving color. This item's kind of cool. I mean, it's 10 enmity,
Mhm.
resist charm, defense 30, 200 HP, and or defense 41 technically. Um, I think for all intents and purposes, most paladins could wear this over the JSC +2 unless you start to become like a really try-hard paladin.
The main reason I would not wear this in an idle set is it's likely to cause HP swings.
Mm.
With 200 HP, assuming it's like fully augmented. Where I do have
Definitely
this,
best if you're cheating, right?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say is I use it for cure cheats. And I use this on Rune Fencer, I believe, for enmity job abilities.
It's still a
Um,
really piece.
It is. It is a really strong piece. The only reason I don't use it for more enmity stuff on Paladin is because the oh god, what neck is it? Moonlight's neck, I think, has like
Oh
something
yeah,
like
a ton, like
17 or
50.
like
It's like
15
15 or
enmity.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it has a ton on it. But it is super good. You should keep it in your back pocket as a tank. But it's not something that I would like go out of my way to do.
Well, kind of
Otherwise,
what I'm getting at is like, if you're a newer paladin,
mhm.
instead of dropping 45 mil on the neck, or even more because you got to RP it, like you could just make this and just full time it at all times and never unequip it. Like it's got the enmity, it's got the HP, it's got the vit defense.
Yeah,
People
if you
are
don't want to
really-
use like Lorica Torque or something else,
yeah,
then yeah,
yeah.
this could definitely be an option for
I
sure.
think paladin is one of the few jobs that even in the older gear set, like before newer stuff, it
Mhm.
wasn't that hard to hit DT cap.
No, no, not too much. I
So
used
I think
Lorica Torque for a long time strictly for the defense, like I was talking about earlier.
that's fair.
But
This is
no,
close though.
this yeah,
Defense.
it is very
Not
close. It's within like 10 or 15. So if you need the HP in a set, I would definitely use this.
I'm just thinking from like a newer player perspective because I
Yeah.
know what I would use this for. Like we were talking about, like cure cheating and stuff,
Mhm.
or for jobs that aren't paladin and rune fencer that need enmity. Sometimes comes up.
Yeah. Would you
Uh,
use this in a charm set, like we were talking about earlier with the earring and stuff like that?
a resist charm set.
Mhm.
Okay, yes, you said a charm set and has 9 charisma.
Yeah,
The answer
resist.
might be yes to
Well,
that too.
I am well. Beastmaster doesn't even use charm anymore, so
But
we
that's
can. Yeah,
I was being a semantic a little bitch.
I know you were, buddy. So yeah, that's not a bad piece.
Let's talk
Uh,
about Dragoon's best DPPs.
what best TPPs?
Vimtork.
Vimtork?
Vimtork. I really like Vimtork personally. I know a lot of people don't, but I really do.
It stings while you're using it.
That's fine. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I look
My wife
as
fucking cure me.
yeah, yeah, as somebody who plays both warrior and white mage, I have zero problem expecting my white
Telling them to do
mage to
their fucking
keep up
job.
with the fucking the whatever the what is it even called? The latent effect that just drains your HP.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with this piece, it is a remake of the Berserker's Torque, where it has a latent effect regain. And in exchange, it drains your HP by like, is it just 1-to-1? Is it 20 attack or is it more than
It's
that?
30 HP attack.
30
If I'm
HP
Oh
attack?
wow.
Yeah, I
right.
think that sounds right.
But it's not for the regain. It is for the regain.
Yeah.
It's while your weapon is out, right?
Yes, you have to be engaged. So you won't like if you're
And
running around with it, which you shouldn't be doing that anyway, but
you don't have to have a ring on your finger, but you do have to have your weapon out.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think it's solid because it has a ton of store TP, and for warrior in particular, this will make or break a lot of like 3 to 4 hit builds. If like if you're trying to do a 4 hit build with Lafria or a Great Axe or something like that, it's very good. If you are
Yeah,
not trying to do that,
the
I wouldn't really use this.
Warrior's one of the few jobs one of the few melee jobs that does not need to TP and it's SU5 or SU3 necklace, right?
Right. Right. The spots where that would be useful is if you're not able to hit double attack, cap, and other pieces. So like
What I was getting
Lafria.
at earlier,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say it pairs really well with Lafria that already has the native double attack on it. So that's a big reason why I use it.
And what I was going to say is what I was saying earlier is the Dragoon is in a similar boat to Warrior there, where
Mhm.
their JSC neck isn't as good for TPing. You'd only really want to wear it when you want to keep your Wyvern alive.
Mhm.
And this is a better TP exclusively piece.
Mhm.
I think every job that has this should carry it though to swap in to wake yourself up.
Yeah.
Nice. I
Yeah.
should do that for sure. I get slept all the time. It drives me insane.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
could just macro like Vim Torque equip and
Yeah.
you're awake.
Mhm. I see a question in chat and says, how much DA and gear do you need? If I remember correctly, let me double check here. I'm pretty sure Warrior gets 33% native mastered.
Yeah.
From
And then like
job
5% from
traits.
the merits.
Yeah, I think that's
I think it's
including. I think that's
37,
including the merits. Is 33.
maybe.
I believe it's 28 before the merits.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then 33 if you count the merits. So you need 67%, which really isn't difficult to do when you consider that between like the artifact gear, if you wear 2 pieces of legs and feet, that's 20% right there.
That's a shame.
What's that?
I wish Warrior natively had 2 less DT or
Yeah.
DA,
Why?
because then it would need 69.
Oh, Jesus.
True.
God damn it. Um, but yeah, it's typically not difficult to cap double attack without the JSE neck, depending on what weapon you're using. So like if I wanted to swap into like a more defensive set that had like say more sock Potter or something in it, then I would opt to use the +2 neck over the Vim Torque because then we're making up that double attack deficit. So
Yeah.
it all just depends on what you're doing.
It's a very nice piece, though.
Absolutely.
The refresh never comes into question. It's useless.
Yeah. I honestly I forget that refresh is on there. You know where this I'm gonna counter that Dex. There I've got a
Shearing?
use for it. Yeah, shearing. Yep, you knew
I knew you were gonna say it.
it. But yeah, that's it. Warder's Charm.
I love this neck.
It's good. I assume you like it for the Magic Burst bonus.
You want a screenshot? Mine is buddy.
I don't think mine is. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I have
I
either.
made some really stupid set on
Mhm.
Blue Mage, I think, for Magic Burst bonus, and it slotted in well, but
Yeah.
don't do it for that. Don't upgrade this stupid item. Like, it's very good as an
Mhm.
idle piece. It provides all but light and dark resistances, so it's strong for that. And the occasionally absorbs magic damage taken. You can pair this with a Shadow Ring, which
Mhm.
occasionally annuls magic damage taken. And when a nuke is cast on you or a magic weapon skill,
Mhm.
it goes through multiple checks like I was going at before. It checks if it's gonna absorb it, it checks if it's gonna annul it, and each is like going on top of each other. So it's like multiple percentage chances to
Yeah.
add damage stacked upon each other.
Mhm.
Very helpful and useful. The enmity never comes up. I just think it's a really powerful magic resistance neck.
Yeah.
We're in a world where now we have so many options to get magic defense bonus on other slots.
Mhm. At one point, I think it was not a terrible option for skill chain damage, but I think that's pretty much completely outdated now.
I hope that's not true, but it might be.
Pretty sure at one point somebody it was used for that, but now with Nyame it's completely pointless because Nyame just has the skill chain damage on there.
I think I have a Warder's Charm +1 that's not
Mhm.
augmented
Mhm.
yet. I was like, not that the augment would have made a huge difference, but I made a Warder's Charm, and because mostly for like our body or something.
Mhm.
One of the things, and I was like, somebody had suggested I was getting ready. And I'm pretty sure Myth said, "Oh, you don't really need that anymore," and so I've like neglected it ever
Yeah.
since. I've just not,
Yeah, it sounds about
not
right.
even looked at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a single reason I would use the augment on it. Just because
I
like
am
when I'm
glad.
go ahead.
I was gonna say that one thing I was really glad about it was that we saved Zwazo earring for the end.
Oh goddamn.
It'll be easy to wrap it up though.
One
Yeah.
last thing about the Warder's Charm. I lost my train of thought with that stupid Zwazo damn it.
Are you using this in Magic Burst on Blue Mage?
I said before that I did make a specific niche set that used it for that on Blue Mage.
But
Yes.
is that
But,
like is that your go-to Magic Burst set or
no,
is that just
I've since said screw that. It's not
oh,
worth
okay.
it.
Okay. Fair.
I was gonna say, Warder's Charm, when you're using it, it
Mhm.
feels really goddamn good when a mob puts a Give down and you just get healed multiple times.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
that is true.
Nice.
Yeah, at one point, I was using this when V20s were the newest content. Like when we did our V20 clear stacks, I did use this when I was like warrior on Zevioso or something like that. But then since the V25s came out, I was like, fuck it, and I just like went kind of full DD, and it worked out fine. So
I respect that.
yeah, but it is a really solid piece, whether you're
When you're
using it to
fighting a
idle
mob,
or
it kind of checks the vibe. And when
yeah,
when it's fighting you and it sees that you're like, fuck it, it's like, damn, this guy's a badass. Like,
it's true.
It can
Yeah,
feel, you can sense your fear.
yeah. Uh-oh. But yeah,
so it's frustrating.
yeah. What do you guys? I really like this hearing. Not gonna lie.
LMFAO. Okay, we're done. Great episode.
Here's the reason I like it.
Oh
It's
god.
nice and nostalgic for me because this is one of the very first
Oh,
earrings that I got from the Memul NM that spawned
Cobblejaw.
at the bird camp back at like you could go XP there at like level 55 during TOAU, and it had like 3 accuracy on it, which was a big deal back then.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, I would never get this one though.
Counter argument.
Mhm.
Stats don't care about your feelings.
Hey, accuracy plus 10 isn't the worst.
Realistically,
block rate.
it's useful for the block.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a crazy person and you want to make a shield block set on like Red Mage,
Yeah.
you would wear this. Oh, Red Mage isn't even on it. Paladin only. This is a Paladin earring.
Warrior.
It's for
shield
your,
block
it's
set.
for your dragoon savage blade set.
Oh, so your Dragoon can block with its Aegis?
Mhm.
Let's
Yes.
go!
That sounds great. Oh man.
I don't think this is a good item. I think it's one of the worst.
Mhm.
It's just the fact that cape is so bad, the one we talked about earlier, grounded. That
Yeah, grounded versus Swazo. What do you think?
Bird
Where
Killer
you
plus 5 versus Thunder Resist plus 20. What do you? That's a tough one.
fuck them birds.
So if that wraps it up for the Unity items, I
does.
have another question for you guys that we can kind of
Oh wow.
we can kind of wind
Okay.
down on. What do you guys think of the new updates?
The new
Oh, we're
updates
gonna
in
do what?
general.
Yeah,
What?
the new updates that came out this last week, the
Mhm.
the Dynamis updates, all the stuff that's been going on with
Mhm.
has Vanabout even started yet?
It hasn't.
I
It's
think
starting on Tuesday.
Okay.
I
yeah,
have
next
to
week.
say, Shiraj in the chat just
Mhm.
said, unironically, this earring can be used for Warrior to solo Yagudo VD Ambuscade.
That's nice.
Oh,
Raj.
okay.
Go home.
So anyway, back to the important question. How's the new Dynamis working out? Have you guys tried it?
Great. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
saw
of people have
Heghmoh
things
on-
to complain about.
I
with
saw
it.
Heghmoh on a Reddit thread telling people to shut the fuck up, and this is
Yeah.
Dynamite. Great.
I love
Well,
that.
people are like, "Who's this content even for?" And I'm like, I can think of like 400 different reasons why you would do this. What do you mean, who's it for? But yeah, I mean, like it has. I'm not saying it's a perfect system. There's flaws in it.
Mhm.
There's some silly interactions that happen and like really unfortunate dumb stuff, like zoning into statues that instantly kill you, or not getting any credit because the second you zoned in, somebody killed the wave 1 boss, and then there's no reason to be there. But
this
like,
wasn't there before, and it's just a free thing now.
yeah, yeah, and you can go in once a day. There's so
awesome.
like, I in the first 3 days after the patch, I fully unlocked all my blue relic, which I didn't have any aspiration of doing that anytime soon, because I don't get to go into Dynamis on whatever job I want, because I have to clear it for the link shell every single twice a week. So it's just like amazing for that. Like, if you've been doing it every day, you could have done two obscure jobs. And the biggest part of that, hold on, the most exciting thing is every single time from now on, when somebody shows up to Link Shell Dynamis and is like, "Hey, can I come on Summoner or Puppet Master or Thief or whatever?
Oh,
I really need
you
the
should.
unlock." I can be like, "Oh man, sorry, do that solo." Yeah, like,
That's great. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I love putting people in their place.
Whoa. Um.
Hmm.
Well, that's good. I feel okay. So hear me out. I wanted to have this conversation about like what you guys think about the updates and blah blah blah. And we had an entire episode last time talking about the updates. We literally
Yeah.
filled 2.5 hours talking about the updates.
Yeah,
And
'cause we
Mhm.
both-
now when we're just like doing our little recoup, the only thing that I can think about that I can think of off the top of my head is Dinah. like what
The
else?
Dyna. Okay, so Dynamis,
Yeah.
new Amon Trove. Have you guys
Mhm.
done the new
Oh,
Amon Trove?
Oh yeah,
uh,
dude, I don't like it.
You
what?
don't like
Oh,
I
it?
don't like it.
you mean the event itself? I also like it. I
Mm.
think it feels worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done maybe 30 or 40 Venus orbs. And I think I got 2 pulses out of them. And that was
Oh,
Yeah.
the
really?
whole
That
thing.
bad?
So
Yeah.
I
I'd
did.
say the Venus orbs seem a lot more rewarding in that the Mars
Yeah.
orbs go through the whole thing and not get a rainbow at all.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Even if you get to the end, I feel like
Yeah.
if you do get to
Well,
the
that
end,
could happen before too.
true. But if you get to the 9th chest, I feel like rainbow chests happen a lot less than gold chests
Yeah.
now, which is the
Hmm.
opposite of what it used to be.
Yeah.
Um, they moved the good loot to rainbow stuff, and some of
Yeah.
the good stuff before got left in Loud Thuds, like Volt gear.
Yeah.
But
I did like probably 20 or 30 Venus orbs. I got
I saw your
a
loot; you got some crazy shit.
I got a crepuscular cloak. I got a crepuscular scythe.
Hmm.
I got a pair of malignance tights that was actually from a Mars orb, loud thud, not even a rainbow chest.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I got, I had 5 million gil at one point. A bunch of other stuff. Like I can't even remember. I did notice there were a few things that were like still not great. It
Hmm.
was fantastic not getting job cards. It was fantastic not getting stones. It was fantastic not getting voids and shards. I do like all those changes.
that
I
was a
got
great improvement.
I got 2 of the same Grompdrug body from a Venus impossible to gauge. 2 different impossible to gauge Venus orbs.
That feels
I got the same vagary or incursion drop that has absolutely no use. So like it's the loot lists aren't perfect yet, but in general I think it's better. I think what feels bad is not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Like there's new factors, so it's like we have to relearn it, but I think eventually it'll feel better. And I this is anecdotal, not screenshot, not recorded, but the person in my link shell that got the new ammo piece says they got it off a Mars orb and it was just a thud noise. So I
What?
don't,
I
yeah,
don't think it's correct.
No,
I
that's
that might, yeah, that
With
might have
all
been
due
incorrect,
respect
but
to your link shell member, I
wow.
think they made a
yeah.
mistake.
Have you guys seen the stuff that people have been sharing screenshots of getting this stuff from the Gobby box?
I did hear
Yeah,
that.
that's real. That's real.
Yeah, that's interesting. It seems like
I mean, that's
they
like a
added
1
a
in 10,000, but
Mhm.
congratulations.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a very, very small chance, but I do think it's interesting that they did do that.
I think it was Unicorn Ninja in chat that
Mhm.
said DA ammo is literally an all job stance.
No,
It is a stance
yeah,
now that I think
maybe
about it.
they
Yeah,
listened
yeah.
to our job
It's a
adjustments
gill
episode.
stance.
A
Yeah.
kill stance.
I think all
That's
4 of
crazy.
the new Hoxney items are very strong.
Mhm.
I think the ammo is a bit too rich, literally, for my taste. But
Sure.
I think it's powerful.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I don't like that the new content is open up your wallet for most players because I
Yeah.
opened 40 Venus orbs and got jack all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's Amon Trove's still gonna suck for the same reasons Amon Trove sucked before. It's RNG. It feels bad, really bad when you lose.
Mhm.
It feels great when you win, but like, especially when it's your last orb and you go into it's like being at a casino. because it's literally gambling, and you're
Yeah.
like, this is my last dollar. We're gonna win big on this one, and then you just lose it. You're like, I guess I'll go home now. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's like I can't get Kathwacked 8 times in a row, can I?
yeah. There's
You
there's
can.
statistically it'd be impossible if I got whacked on the first chest 8 times in a row.
Yeah.
I would say for most players, especially newer players, Trove is probably better than ever because it's more rewarding on the low end.
Yeah.
For
Mm.
players that only want the highest end loot from the stuff and nothing else, people who used to only chase loud thuds
Mhm.
now have to chase incredibly impossible to gauge thuds,
Yeah.
and that's harder to get than before.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it feels worse for me.
Yeah. The amount of rainbow chests being significantly lowered is definitely
It feels bad.
yeah, it's not something that I'm very happy about, but
When I get to the 9th chest, finally, after getting Kathwacked 9 times and it doesn't become rainbow, that used
Mhm.
to be like a 1 in 10. Now it's like
Yeah.
a 7 out of 10, and it feels really bad.
Yeah.
And then you do your 10th run, and you get to the 9th chest. You open it up. It's a rainbow.
Mhm.
You open it, and you get the fucking Gramps body again. And you're
It's impossible to gauge loot pool is a Borealis coffer.
oh my god, is it really?
So, it's been submitted as a bug report because there's a pulse weapon named Borealis, and I think they made a mistake.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably true.
But imagine getting an impossible to gauge stud and you get a Borealis coffer.
Yeah, get a fucking Unity
Mo-
item.
Are you kidding me?
Oh man. That's crazy. Well, we did just talk about how great Unity items are, so maybe it's good that they put them in the impossible to gauge chests.
They're not that good, buddy.
I think they should throw in some of the what was the mantle that the thunder resist mantle,
Oh yeah.
and
mantle.
the bird killer.
What if they were
earring.
fully
Throw
augmented
those in.
though? What if you could get a
Oh,
fully
yeah.
augmented bird killer earring,
Mhm.
Zwaso
Yeah,
or
for my
whatever?
impossible to gauge stud, I would still curse the sky.
Oh boy.
I think we could do an entire episode on how the community has been revitalized into doing really old, obscure content because of
Yeah.
it.
I mean, that's what I'm working on mastery rank.
Mhm.
Me
I'm
too.
Are
finally
you?
doing it.
Wow.
I'm doing missions. I'm doing a quest right now.
That's
I made
actually
a
crazy.
spreadsheet. I gave
Yeah.
it to Heghmoh, and he said, "Say less. I'm not looking at it."
I gotta say,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be convinced to do mastery rank. I don't
I
think I have it
got
in me.
Dex's spreadsheet and I
Mhm.
was like, I opened it, I looked at it, and I was like, I'm gonna do the low hanging fruit first before I get onto this level. Let me do
Yeah.
some missions, let me do some
Right.
quests.
Right.
So
Go
the
It
earring.
is
get
an
rank
undertaking.
10 in all the cities and stuff.
Well, we found out that the mastery rank does indeed go to 10 now.
Mhm.
Mm,
With the update, they ninja added new things that contribute to mastery rank
Mhm.
and
yeah.
raised the cap from 8 to 10.
I think that they
Without
said
saying
that they did say that they were adding new categories that affected it.
Mhm.
they never said they were raising the cap though.
Mm.
But it does indeed go to 10. Confirmed through lack of evidence, I guess. The earring itself gives 25 stats to a rank 9 player, and it
Yeah.
says on the earring it goes to 30. Therefore, one can reasonably conclude that the
I'm
rank goes.
waiting for somebody to hit rank 10 and it goes up to like plus 27 all stats and we figure out it's master rank 11 is the top cap.
Wait. Did you just say that mastery rank 9 has plus 21 on that earring? 20,
25.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
All right.
Um, the fact is, based on the auction house forums, which is the most active forum for the game,
Mhm.
that all the really truly demented, psychopathic, masochistic tryhards that play this game and have already gotten all the titles and all the things and all the stuff
Mhm.
and are since rank 9 after the update. They don't know what to do to get to 10 at this
They're not
point.
sure
That's
like
crazy.
how to increase it anymore.
So
That's
I
Crazy.
think
crazy.
Oh my god.
10 exists, but
Mhm.
only in theory right now, and maybe after new things come out like Ultima and Omega, you would be
Well,
able to get 10.
how many of those ultra tryhard super powerful strong players that have been grinding mastery and rank have finished Wing of War?
I was just about to say that, or Square Enix is truly unhinged, and they made that
Yeah.
the requirement to hit 10. And
Yeah.
then if they did that, fuck you, big middle finger.
Wow. Yeah, I hope not. That's for sure.
That
But-
being said, without rank 10 mastery,
Mhm.
rank 9 is extremely difficult to get, and plus 25, in my opinion, is worth it.
Mhm.
But rank 7 and 8, 15 and 20 of all stats, or 10 and 15 of all stats, still very strong.
Yeah. Cool.
Worth the chase, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there is no end to the things you can do in this game that you've probably forgotten existed. So go out
Yeah.
and have fun and relive the glory days, or just experience a new thing that you didn't get to do ever. And it makes the game feel a little fresh again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I got the earring. I didn't get the earring. I bought the earring. And
Congratulations.
I was rank 5, master rank 5, and
Mhm.
I've been doing quests and missions for like 4 days since then. I've been into my Mog Garden for the first time. I've done all sorts of all sorts of fun stuff, and I'm still rank 5. So
How many do you have any stats, any plus stats on the earring? At rank 5?
no.
No.
Well, no, it's plus 5. Plus 5 all
Mhm.
stats at rank 5.
At
Yeah,
6,
yeah,
it would be 10. At 7, it would be 15. 8,
Hmm.
20.
yeah.
Wow.
I
Well,
do need to do all jobs 99. I have not done that yet.
Yeah, there's a title for each job
Mm-hmm.
mastered, 2,100 points.
there's a title for each job mastered.
Oh, each job mastered, really? I
Yeah,
need to master all my
2,100
jobs. Yeah,
points.
Yeah.
The 2,100 capacity points,
Mhm.
you get a title for that
Mm.
when
nice.
you get stars on the job.
All right. Was there
I'll go for
any
it.
other thing in the update that you guys have looked at or played with, or
I've looked at you.
well, yeah. No, I'm always getting updated, and I'm always here to look at. So cool. Well,
Not to memory. Those were the biggest, most
Mhm.
exciting things, other than like speculation and the freshly picked talking about their long-term lofty
Mhm.
goals.
On a side note, I'd like to let everyone know that there's currently someone on the Asura server shouting for a big donkey DPS for Odyssey
Oh,
segments.
nice.
Oh, let
Okay.
me
So if
go
you're a big donkey DPS and you
on my way.
need in Odyssey segments, please let us know, and we'll get you in that run.
The fact that they're asking for a donkey DPS means that I probably don't want to join them.
But yeah,
I
thanks
just can
guys.
only assume how that
That's
would go.
yeah. That's all I got
Bye.
for the day.
Oh, okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks
I
for
could
the